Hey, yo, mic check 1 2. What it do? Welcome back to the Mic Check podcast. This is T Word, the People's Champ here, my co-host Q, and we are live and in effect on this Munguia versus Ryder boxing match Saturday, January 27th. We're about to get into this thing, and hopefully you all checked out our video earlier. We was talking about Thurman, Tszyu, and the PBC situation that's going down. But tonight we talking boxing, man, and whatever else. We've already dropped a link in the chat. So for those who are interested in coming up on the panel and talk about the fights that are happening on the zone, feel free. Unfortunately, for those who showed up to try and see the stream live, we ain't doing that shit. We about to talk about it though. So sit back,
we're not
relax.
trying to get banned over here, man. We're not trying to get banned.
Hell no. Nah. You know what I'm saying? But we about to let our hair down. So the button-up approach that you might have seen in some of the videos. Hey man, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. I've already finished one. So I'm not responsible for the rest of this stream. I'm gonna say that.
Man, this is an after-hour show. This is not the edited formal version of the show that we typically do. Something different that we're gonna try here in the next couple of hours, just to try something different. You know, I think it's important to try to expand our horizons, try to see what else we can do out there to entertain the people that have been watching and supporting. And this is a way for us to try to do that, because ultimately, you know, diversity is the best way to try to retain your audience. So I think this is going to be really fun, and I'm looking forward to it, because honestly, this is a card that is really going under the radar, and I expect that this will be a good card for us to talk about some people that may not get a lot of publicity and love from us. So I'm looking forward to getting to talk about some of these guys and ladies that are on this card tonight.
Absolutely. In fact, you know, that's the one you talked about, the ladies, and that's one that I'm definitely interested in. Like ASAP is Gabriella Fandora. I mean, from a skill set standpoint, I think in a way she's kind of better than her brother. She's a pretty good fighter, real polished fighter. Obviously he's a good fighter too. That's not hate. You know, interested to see how she's going to do tonight. They got it up on the screen here. We're going to see Gabriella Fandora versus Christina Cruz. This is an IBF flyweight championship. I believe this is a vacant belt. Am I remembering
so
that
she's
right?
already won the belt. She won the belt in her previous fight. This is her first defense of the IBF flyweight title. Gabriella, I will say definitively that she is a more well-rounded fighter than her brother. Her brother is a guy who's a great inside fighter, even though he's like 6'4" and fights at 154, which is crazy. But she's a type of fighter that can do both. She can fight on the inside. She can fight on the outside. She has a strong jab. She's entertaining. The one thing that's going to be interesting is that she's at flyweight, and I'm pretty sure she's almost 6 feet tall, which is insane for a woman to be able to get all the way down to what is flyweight? I think it's 112. That's
flyweight, like 115. Yeah,
115 or 112. So that leaves a lot of room. So she's a woman to look out for that could certainly, you know, move up to, you know, 118, 122, eventually to 126 because of her frame. And she's such a young woman that she'll have plenty of time to do so because I believe she's only in her early 20s. So certainly somebody for and it'll be interesting because she just signed a deal with Golden Boy. So now she's going to have the push behind her that she desperately needs. Unfortunately, she's been fighting on some non-televised PBC undercards. And we know that PBC is not necessarily heavily invested in women's boxing at this time. So she's been able to get her kind of niche with Golden Boy, which I think is a perfect fit. Golden Boy is a West Coast predominant promotion. They do
it's perfect for them.
West Coast. It's a a Hispanic American run company that fits right into her audience. She's going to get an opportunity to fight in a lot of these venues and on a lot of Munguia, Virgil Ortiz, Ryan Garcia undercards in Southern California, Zerto undercards, where she's going to get a chance to attract some of those folks that have already been, interested in those fighters, which we know that Mexican-American boxing fans are some of the most rabid boxing fans in the sport. So great place for her. I think it's the best decision for her long term.
As long as they don't put her in that Golden Boy protection program, she'll be all right. Put her in good fights. Put her in good fights. Don't fluff that record. Put her in good fights.
What's great about the women, though, man, is that the women
fight tough fights.
They take whatever it is off a loss, moving up 2 or 3 weight classes. So I don't think we're going to have that issue on the women's side as much as we do on the men's. Obviously, there's more money involved with the men's fights. The women know that if I want to make the most money, I got to fight the best women out there. And they're willing to do that. So respect to all the ladies that are out there dominating and doing their thing, because we certainly recognize them for that.
For sure. That's how we got that. That's how we got that Ebony Bridges upset. That was a tough fight. Her opponent had fought 2 weeks before, came out clean, and went in there and took that belt. And I mean, she beat Ebony ass too.
Oh, I mean,
she beat her ass, bro.
For people that have seen it, and I've watched Ebony Bridges fights probably since 2019 when she first signed a deal with Matchroom. That's by far the worst I've ever seen her. It's not a coincidence. It comes off of a playoff, an injury. No excuses made, right? If you're going to go in the ring, you have to be able to perform. Just like if I go to work, I got to be able to do my job. If I'm sick that day, I can't use the excuse, well, I wasn't feeling my best. I got to go out there and perform. The same thing for her. But I will say that she certainly was not up to standard, but that's what happens in the women's game. You really never know because, ironically, the woman that she lost to, that fight that she was in 2 weeks before that, she lost that fight. So this was really supposed to be a late replacement, kind of just a warm-up thing to kind of get her back in the swing of things. And she ends up losing to that Japanese woman. So respect to her and looking forward to the rematch. They're going to do a rematch in a couple of months. So obviously, because of the voluntary situation, we already know, like, when you give somebody a voluntary shot at your title and you lose, typically that comes with
you need to get back.
So we'll get to see Ebony and see what she's able to do with Dave Colwell, who was her new coach in that fight. And that was their first fight together. So obviously not off to the start they want, but
she just looked like she didn't prepare properly. She looked like she just showed up and was like, I got this opponent, I'm gonna fight. But it looks like Fandora and Cruz are going to hit the ring. So, guys, the way we're going to do it, obviously, we're open to conversation. Feel free to drop things in the chat or whatever. Feel free to jump up on the panel. We have the link in the comments, so you could join us if you just want to speak your piece. It's all good. Again, this is kind of like a pilot attempt at this live thing. We're going to see if you guys are interested. Obviously, we're still growing our viewership. So for those who are tapping in, you're boxing fans, come on and listen. If you're not a boxing fan, you might actually start to like it based on what we could tell you about what's going on in the ring. Sometimes when you know the story of the fighter or the athlete, you tend to get involved. That's why people like Serena and Venus. That's why they, are interested in certain football players because of the story. So, we got that going on here with this and interested to see how this fight goes. She's a minus 2,000 favorite. So they expected her to beat the brakes off this girl.
It might not last long, y'all. That's what that means. It might not last.
Yeah. Hey, get your bathroom break out the way right now. Right now, because she look like she ready too. She coming with that famous Fundora headband. Yeah. So, and she's still in the back warming up. So we might get a little bit of fluff here, maybe another 5 minutes of side content. But For the most part, I think it's going to be a good fight for as long as it lasts. Speaking of female fighters, let me ask you this: do you watch much of Sky Nicholson?
Yes, I have. I've watched her probably for the last.
What you think of Sky? Because I have some comments. What you think of Sky?
So I think that she's a very good boxer. I think that she's not at the level she thinks she's at. But I will say that I can always respect fighters who believe in their own abilities, even when others don't. And the reason that I say that is because I think we have too many fighters today that are not willing to take the ultimate risks of losing their undefeated record, of losing a fight because they've moved too fast. I don't think that she's ready for an Amanda Serrano fight. I don't think that she would beat Amanda Serrano in a fight. But that's not really saying much because we're talking about a woman in Amanda Serrano that's an 8-division champion, unified, former undisputed champion, featherweight, won multiple titles in multiple divisions. She's also, defended her title on multiple occasions. And losing to her is not anything to be ashamed of. Ultimately, it's not. So when you ask me about Sky Nicholson, I think that she's one of the best up-and-coming fighters. I think that she has the style that works for a fight against Amanda Serrano. I just don't think that she has the experience and the wherewithal within the ring to implement that kind of a style to win that fight. Because the only way you beat Amanda Serrano is being a pure boxer or being a strong counterpuncher, which is what Sky is. She's a pure boxer. She has a very, good set of legs on her. And we've seen in multiple occasions that Amanda Serrano has issues with fighters that have great movement. But I don't think that she's ready for her. But I will say this, if Amanda wanted to pull her card, she had the opportunity to keep that WBC belt if she would have just agreed to fighting 10 2-minute rounds.
10 2-minute rounds, yeah. But I mean, I understand, her being progressive. I shout out Amanda Serrano a lot for that. She feels like women can do 12 3-minute rounds and she bought that action, or 10 3-minute rounds, whatever the case may be. I would like to see more of that. I think that it's just like we talked about in the Thurman video with the levels. I think you can level up to that, just like you start off with 4-round fights and then 6-rounders and then 8 and 10 rounders, and then you get to the championship level and do 12. I think championship level fights should be at least 10 3-minute rounds for the women, because I think that they can handle it. And we found out that the science that they said backed up why they shouldn't doesn't actually exist. So I would like to see it. All right, so we got Fundora coming to the ring now. Like I said, we're gonna give y'all a little bit of
Fundora just before they get started with the fight. What's your thoughts on her brother getting a direct title shot off of a knockout loss? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's weird. That's politics, bro. Politics. because Lubin is on like a 2-fight win streak or something, ain't he?
Well, can we talk about Charles Conwell for a second? Can we talk about Charles Conwell? When is he gonna get his opportunity as the #1 rated guy that hasn't even had a debatable loss? Lubin won the fight. You and I talked about it after the fight. We both thought that he won, but it was close. Conwell hasn't had a close fight in like 4 going on 5 years now. So he's #1 in the WBC. How does he get skipped over for a guy who just lost off a knockout to fight for a title? It's what you just said. It's the WBC.
Yeah. It's politics, man. It's politics.
They want to get that in a Hispanic American fighter's hands. It's not any different than what we've seen in other weight classes where preferential treatment is given to certain fighters. That
Mauricio, the WBA is the black belt.
And we all know that the PBC has its way with the WBA. We know that Bob Arum has his way with the WBO. Right. The WBC seems to be a lot more preferential to the Hispanic or the Latin American fighter. And that seems to be the case in this situation because Charles Conwell, to me, is a guy that should be in there. And what I will say is this, and I've seen it historically, the person who wins the vacant belt has a mandatory immediately. So I don't want to hear anything about a rematch. I don't want to hear anything about Fundora fighting Mendoza after this, all I want to hear is Conwell getting his shot at that title immediately after whoever wins this upcoming fight, because he should be getting it with it being a vacant title that's being won by the interim champion. So that's all that I can ask for in this situation.
For sure. Hey, y'all, I'll be right back.
Yeah, so while T is out, actually, you guys give me your thoughts. I think that what's going to end up happening is that Fundora's fighting Bohachuk. I think he wins that fight. Do you guys think, and you guys can drop this in the comment section below, do you guys think that Fundora is going to be mandated to fight Charles Conwell for the title immediately after? You guys let me know. We're going to go to a comment in the section here. The real question is, how is Keith Thurman the A side against Tszyu? I understand Keith is the bigger name, but Tim is the champion. Now, I'm sorry that I can't pronounce this entire name that's listed here. Fruit Juice Box, I'm sorry. But I will say that ironically, T and I just talked about this on our episode this morning that we posted a few hours ago about why ultimately Keith ended up being the A side. Well, I don't personally agree with it, because I think that distance in this situation doesn't make the heart grow fonder. When you're a guy that's been out for 2 years, you don't deserve to be the A side of a pay-per-view. I believe it should be Tszyu A side versus Keith Thurman B side. But ultimately, I don't think that the fight would have been made if they didn't give Keith that concession. I think Tim was willing to sacrifice being the B side to Keith Thurman, a former unified world champion at welterweight. And that's the only way that the fight was going to happen. I think that's the real answer to this question. T, you're back, man. What you think about what I just had to say about why they actually made Keith Thurman the A side? We talked about it on the podcast, but you can give your thoughts here too.
Like I said in the video, it's just name recognition. That's all. And like you said, it's not a title fight, so that's your situation right there. It's not a title fight. So I think just to get it made, like you just mentioned, is the biggest thing.
Yep.
So
ultimately, Keith Thurman, we know that he's a difficult guy to negotiate with. Terrence Crawford has tried to get him in the ring multiple times. Errol Spence tried to get him in the ring, before he won his own title with the IBF. He tried to unify with him afterwards. So we know that he's a guy that's not easy to negotiate with, especially now in his late age, where we obviously know that he's probably not at his best anymore. So that was a concession that Tszyu ultimately had to make. One of the things we didn't talk about when we talked about Gabriella Fandora that I forgot about is that she's a southpaw. So, the length, the speed, the good right-hand jab, I think is what's really going to help her to retain this IBF title in this kind of a fight. But I will say this woman that she's fighting doesn't look like she's intimidated by the moment. You can tell with certain fighters when they come into fights where they're just afraid of getting hit and they're just concerned about what's coming back without thinking about offense. And I don't think that that's necessarily what we're going to get in this fight. Ultimately, I think that does lend itself towards Gabriella winning the fight, because I think that she's going to do better with an opponent that's willing to come at her as opposed to someone that's willing to go away. We got another comment in there from Fruit Juice Box.
Yeah, Cruz versus Roelly. It's 140. It's not a title fight, I don't think, but it's 140.
So that's the thing. I think it is the title, but I think what it is the same situation we just talked about with Fandora, with the brother,
WBC belt,
where he's basically winning the vacant belt. I think the only reason they're allowing Roelly to defend the 140 WBA belt is because Barroso just fought 2 or 3 weeks ago on a Golden Boy card, and he wasn't available obviously by March 30th to fight on that card. So quick of a turnaround, especially at his age. They should, in my opinion, honestly, they should have never even let Roelly even accept this fight, because what they should have said is no, you can't take any interim fights. You've been out for a year. You've been sitting on the belt for this amount of time. You either fight Barroso or you give the belt up and you can be champion in recess and come back and try to challenge for the belt later. But so he is going to injured.
I think that was the thing. He had an injury exemption.
They were saying that he was injured, but my issue with it is the show cause. The show cause needs to be made public. That's my opinion on it. if sanctioning body is going to demand that you show them proof of what your injury was, then I think that that's something that should be made public. Just like test results for drug testing should be public. Just like what you weigh in at should be public. I think that all those things should be public knowledge, because ultimately, if he was actually injured, we should know what he was. And if he was injured, that's even more of a reason that I think they should have made him champion in recess, because you shouldn't be able to just sit on the belt just because you're injured. When's the last time Roelly fought? I think the last fight Roelly had wasn't it against
when he won the belt from Barroso
over a year ago. So
no, that fight was in like June.
Let's see.
I remember it was that loaded, or maybe it was sometime in April. It was, or into May. It was that loaded 140 card, because Gary Antoine Russell was supposed to be on it, and he ended up injured. When his brother commented, he said he had an injury, and that's why he got pulled from the card. But the whole card was all 140s. It was a regular Showtime Championship boxing card.
Fought on May 13th. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, yeah. So like 7 months, 8 months, something like that. So I kind of missed the first round, but what I did see from what's her name, Cruz, is that she's kind of willing to deal, but I see her on her lateral movement shit, like she getting out the way. So I don't know how willing she is. She definitely moving out the way.
She's respecting the power, but I also think that she's respecting the fact that she's at a distance, and that's the issue when you fight somebody so tall in your weight division, right? Somebody so long in your weight division, is that you're not used to having to break the distance, because Cruz is a tall woman for this division. It's not like she's not a tall woman. She's very tall for the weight, but Fandora is extremely tall and long for the weight. So she's probably not used to fighting women so much taller than her, so much longer than her. So having to break that distance is something that, that's an awkward situation for somebody to be in. And we're going to get a great example of that when we talk about Alantez Fox, who's going to fight, later on in this card. Yeah. He's also a very tall guy for the weight division that he's
tall.
Yeah.
Real tall.
So we're going to get a chance to see another example of this later. So I think that she's trying to work out the distance. But when you look at this woman, I mean, Gabriella Fundora has got to be at least 6 feet tall. And to be fighting at flyweight is insane. That's insane. It doesn't matter if you're a woman or not. Like, to be almost 6 feet tall and to be weighing in at 115, strong, and still have the wherewithal to be able to fight in the ring, that's really impressive. But it must run in their genes, because, I mean, her brother's doing the same thing at 154. That's insane on its own. I mean, the dude is 6'5.5", almost 6'6" at 154. I mean, this is crazy. I mean, most dudes at 6'6", they're at the bare minimum 200 pounds. At the bare minimum, they're a cruiserweight. So, there's more of it. And she's trying to work out this southpaw stance. I think that's the main thing, is that the southpaw stance in the ring. She's getting pushed a little bit too much back on the ropes, in my opinion. She's not going to win a fight if she's laying on the ropes the entire fight. Even if Gabriella isn't landing anything significant, if the judges are seeing constantly that Cruz is on the ropes, that means that she's being put there. And if she's being put there, that means it's for a reason. So she's certainly losing this round unless she makes something happen in the last 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of trying to use like a lateral trap. So it's kind of like shuffle right, shuffle left, pivot or not pivot, and then like come back the other way and then drop a punch. Like you see go right, go left. And she's trying to lateral trap, but Gabriella is very intelligent. She's showing her IQ by waiting for her, and she's making like she's responding to the lateral movement with subtle movements on her own. So she's just kind of turning and pivoting instead of actually picking up both feet and moving. So it's giving her a chance to be on point. So if she needs to parry or step back, she's not catching any punches.
Ooh. Yeah, she caught her about twice in the last 10 seconds that we've seen, but they've traded off. I think the main thing is going to be the fact that Gabriella is punching between Cruz's combinations, between her jab, because ultimately she's at a distance where she can punch in a safe space that Cruz cannot. And
she's able to get in and out with no problem. She's getting in and out with no problem. Shrek Ninja says, if Munguia has a close fight with Ryder, he's definitely not getting a Canelo fight. He ain't getting that fight anyway, bro. He gotta basically murder Ryder to get the Canelo fight. I just don't think it's a good matchup.
While we on that subject, let's go ahead and talk about it. Do you think that it's Jamal or bust in that situation? Because you don't think that Munguia is going to get the fight. So is it Jamal?
I don't deserve it. I would do if I'm Canelo, I fight Jamal just because it closes out a conversation. It just puts another stamp on another part of his legacy. Obviously, if he wins, I think it increases his legacy to some degree because now you could say you cleaned up the dudes that were chasing you and said you wouldn't fight them. And then you only have Benavidez left. So you get to really put the stamp on your legacy. If for some reason he doesn't beat Maul, you could still have on your resume, I fought all the best. You could go down in history with Sugar Ray and Marvin Hagler and all those dudes and say, Oscar De La Hoya, I took on all challengers. And nobody can say you didn't. And you can say, I took on tough fights at the back end of my career.
You know what? I honestly have to say that I think it's a difficult situation because Canelo is in a place where, yes, he could fight Benavidez next. We know that that's not likely, but he could fight Benavidez next. But if he does so, and let's say that he's able to win that fight, what's he going to do for the next fight under that PBC banner? If he beats Benavidez, he can't then turn around and fight Jamal. So he kind of has to fight Jamal first because on the totem pole, as far as rankings are concerned, Benavidez is the big boss. Jamal is the second to the last guy to fight. That's kind of how it's shaken out at this point because ultimately, if he fights Benavidez and beats him, Jamal would be considered even more of a foregone conclusion, in my opinion, because Jamal has not wanted to fight Benavidez either. So it's kind of like, go ahead.
So I'm rethinking what you're saying there, and maybe not. So let's say Canelo and Benavidez fight, and Canelo beats him. David Benavidez fights nothing like Jamal, and honestly, Jamal has a style that's more problematic for Canelo than Benavidez. Just coming forward, throwing punches.
What's the main point of that? I agree with you, but the main key to that is if he's on the level, if he's in his prime, if he can perform to the best of his ability. I think
he just needs one fight. Well, let's be honest though. The last time we saw Maul, Maul looked good. Considering he'd been out the ring all that time, he looked good. So if you give him another fight and then you have him face Canelo, at some point, like, let's go ahead.
That's what we're saying, though. It's like, if we give him another fight, if he's able to perform even better, there's a lot of variables within that because right now, who's he going to fight next? Who's the guy that you would put him in with if you were his manager and you knew, okay, we have a chance to get the Canelo fight in September? Who's the guy that you'd put him in with that gets him prepared for that?
Find somebody at 168 that's maybe a blown up middleweight and fight that person. Somebody that's not going to put you in danger of getting knocked out, but going to give you a tough fight. Hell, you could pull Gabe Rosado up to 168. The idea isn't necessarily, listen where I'm going with that. The idea isn't to give him a challenging fight. The idea is to give him a reason to go to camp, go under the lights, and perform on a card. That's the whole idea. I don't think he needs a tough fight to get ready for Canelo at this point, because I believe that his skill set, as long as he's active, is going to be enough to make it a tough fight for Canelo. I'm not calling victory either way. What I'm saying is get in the ring and be active, and I think that that's going to make a big difference in him being able to perform against a guy like Canelo. But
I'll be right back.
I would say,
I'll be right back for a second.
Do your thing. I'll go ahead and just do some commentary on this fight. All right, guys. So we got Fundora in the ring with Cruz, and by my count, at best, is 3-1 Fundora, but I think I got it 4-0. I just feel like she's been controlling the real estate. She's picking where the fight's going to be. She's also doing what she wants to do. Her jab is good. Sometimes she looks a little slow on her counter shots, like her opponent maybe is faster than she expected. But ultimately, I think she's doing enough and she's landing big shots. She just landed a nice shot here in the counter. And they've got it 4-0. They've got it 4-0 on Manic scorecards as well. So I don't know if it's good or bad that I got the same scorecard, but I think that she's handling her business and she's cruising to victory right now, barring some unforeseen big shot that she doesn't see. But I just think that Cruz is overmatched And now she's really on her lateral movement. She's not even trying to set a trap. She's just trying to stay out of the fire. And I don't understand how you run for 2 minutes, but she's definitely on her bike, full speed downhill. All right, we got Shrek Ninja back in the chat. Charlo will also lose to Benavidez. Charlo has 2 close fights with Castaño. Castaño brings the pressure and throws a lot of volume, just like Benavidez. And don't forget the power. No, we talking about the other Charlo, bro. We talking about Maul, not Mel. So Mel, even though he had 1 close fight with Castaño, and then he stopped him. So he didn't have 2 close fights. That second fight with Castaño, he beat him up from the beginning. But the first fight was definitely competitive, but you also saw that Mel wasn't doing what he was instructed to do throughout that fight. He kept backing up to the ropes and putting himself in a bad position. But we're talking about Big Brother. We talk about the older, slightly older Charlo, Maul, who's already been at 160. Check out the comment on the screen.
Charlo will also lose to Benavidez. Charlo has 2 close fights with Castaño. Okay, so yeah, he's talking about Jermel. Castaño brings the pressure, throws a lot of volume, just like Benavidez. Don't forget about the power. Okay, so here's the thing for me personally with Benavidez. Benavidez is a very strong fighter, but I think his power and his strength is a little bit overstated. The reason that I say that is because he's fighting and he does that bully ball stuff against people that I believe that he knows he can get away with it against. Benavidez, if you want to be honest, and this is us just being honest about it, Benavidez is a light heavyweight. He is. He's 6'2", 6'3". He probably walks around at about 215, maybe 220 when he's out of camp. And he's refused to move up to 175. The reason for that is because of the significant weight and strength advantages that he has over guys from 168. Even a guy like Caleb Plant, who's fairly big for the weight, right? He's not a guy that's bigger or taller than Benavidez. He's also a pure boxer. He's not a power guy. If anybody can name a power guy that Benavidez has fought in his prime, I'll wait, because he hasn't, in my opinion. He fought the Canadian dude, I can't remember his name, David Lemieux, a couple of years ago. But that guy wasn't in his prime. His prime was from 2018 when he fought Billy Joe Saunders and Triple G and all of that kind of stuff. I think that ultimately, if he fights guys that are equally as strong as him, AKA a guy like Canelo who could be on it that night, I think he has a much more difficult time pushing him around, because you have to remember, what's the most important thing about strength? The center of gravity. If you're a guy that can be equally as strong as somebody, but your center of gravity is lower, then naturally you're going to have that advantage in that kind of a fight, which I don't know that Benavidez can outbox Canelo. I don't know that he can, because I don't think his footwork is good enough at this point, or at least he hasn't shown that it's good enough to do that. I think the only way he wins that fight is by stoppage, in my opinion.
I think Benavidez offers less. Gabriella going to work. I'll get to my point in a minute. But okay, so it's end of the round. I got Gabriella sweeping so far. She's been the brakes off her at this point.
I don't think it's going to be a close fight, and I think she's just concerned about the power too much. Cruz, I'm talking about. I don't think
it's a skill gap too.
She's spending too much time with her back on the ropes.
It ain't even just that.
The ropes. That tells me everything I need to know.
She's moving laterally the entire time. She's been on her bike since round 1. She really don't want to smoke, but I mean, it's a title fight. You got to fight, but she ain't with it. Like, Gabriella is able to do what she want to do, and there's no accuracy to the punches coming from Cruz. She's just throwing something back just to show something, but like, look at her lateral movement. Her hands are down. She's really not doing her best to be effective. But as far as Benavidez and Canelo, I would just say that I think that Benavidez has some tools that could give Canelo trouble, specifically when he tries to use his high guard traps. However, I do believe that Canelo, if he's active and he doesn't just do like he was doing against Bivol, like loading up, trying to find big shots, if he boxes like he did against Ryder, he'll have a lot better chance. He didn't get an opportunity to show if he still had it in him against Mel, because Mel wouldn't engage. But if you got somebody that's going to stand there and fight with you like Benavidez, who's not afraid of the power, you'll get a chance to see if Canelo will let his hands go and really box and show the ring IQ that he's developed over the years. But ultimately, I think it's still a tough fight for both fighters, just like I think Maul is a tough out for Canelo. That's just what it is for me. Let's see. Shrek Ninja says, Benavidez' chin has been tested against a power puncher. I mean, he has been dropped by a jab, but was more like a flash knockdown. Yeah, but that's not what we're saying. That we talking about like a true boogeyman power.
What power puncher are we talking about that's been tested against? Who?
When he got dropped, that was a big puncher. I can't remember the dude's name now.
He got dropped by was it Angulo? I think it was.
I'm not sure. I have to double check. While you look that up, I'm gonna go ahead and give some calm on this fight. So Gabriella's walking her down now. She's coming forward. She's trying to set up some punches, and she's loading up that backhand for something devastating. You can see she's kind of got it. She's got it much higher than she had it, and she just shot it and missed. And I think that that's the whole game plan here. Her goal from here out is to set up the jab and then counter with that left. There it was, and Cruz did not like it.
No, he got dropped by Ronald Gabriel in 2017. But come on, man. I mean, let's be respectful now, okay? I mean, Canelo is far from Ronald Gabriel. His highlight, the main highlight that everybody shows on PBC networks on their YouTube page from David Benavidez is the 12 punch combination that he landed on Romer Angulo. Come on, let's be honest. Canelo is not that guy. He's just not. Whether he's faded from his very best or not, he's not a guy that's going to let you get off 12 punches without you having to answer for something. I agree with you, T. I think that it's the toughest fight of Canelo's career to date since Triple G won. From a physical standpoint. I'm talking about from
gotcha.
Floyd was an intellectual and a technical standpoint, just like Bivol. I think it's Floyd and then Bivol on technicality, and then Lara probably third. If you're talking about from a physicality standpoint, I think it's Triple G one, and then I think it's a Benavidez fight, and then probably Triple G 2 right after that, because there was a couple of years between that where Triple G was a little bit older.
I think Maul will be physical with him too. I think that will be kind of a physical fight in a way.
That's interesting though, because I feel like Maul has to get Canelo's respect, but I also feel like he and Benavidez can't be there to be hit. When you think about Benavidez, 6'2", 6'3", that's a lot of torso. That's a lot of torso for somebody to hit. And we know that Canelo loves to go to the body. I think that people are kind of underestimating that part of it because they think that, Benavidez can just walk through pretty much anything. I mean, he can walk through a missile, basically, is what people are thinking. But
yeah, that's fool's gold. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see if that fight does end up happening. As far as this fight is concerned, I think it's more of the same, honestly. Cruz is looking for one punch. She's not really doing much, in my opinion, to put more than two punches together. There's a reason for that. The reason
she's not throwing real punches. Yeah.
The reason for that is that there's not, she's concerned about what's coming back at her. And if you could tell just from the geography of the fight, Gabriella Fandora is spending all of her time in the middle of the ring, while Cruz is spending all of her time on the exterior of the ring. Yeah. Everything she's doing is next to the ropes, around the corner, next to the ropes, around the corner, over and over and over again, without anything changing. She's not changing the real estate. And that's the easiest way for a judge, if there's not much going on, to make a decision about who won the round. It's the geography of what you guys are. So,
well, it's also punches landed. Like it's clear and apparent. I mean, she's getting a couple good counters. Like her counter right has been pretty good, but it's usually when Gabriella is committing to trying to drop her left. But for the most part, there it is. You could just see she's banging. Yeah, her heart just left her body just now. Her hands went down. Her jaw dropped. Her eyes kind of like got low.
A couple of rounds to survive and say that she didn't get stopped. And take a more victory in that, because she's not stopping Fundora in this fight, and I think that she knows that. I think that she knows that at this moment that she's not winning this fight, and she's not stopping Fundora.
I'm gonna mute so I can hear the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Gabriella, it's the right hook, man. I mean, The check hook, the left hand, the strong piston jab. That's what's done it all night for her in this fight. Cruz has been spending too much time on the ropes. That's a clear evidence to me that she's losing this fight. If you can't get yourself off the ropes against a fighter who's the home fighter, remember that this is a Golden Boy card. It's a Golden Boy fighter. If you can't get yourself off the ropes, you're not going to win a decision. You're just not.
Cruz just swinging for the fences at this point. She's just throwing some shit out there and hope it land and it stop her, and that ain't gonna work.
Canelo, last decent good Mexican fighter he has fought was Josecito Lopez. What did he say? I'm sorry. Josecito Lopez, we don't want to talk about the disgrace in Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Okay, so then that goes to the trivialness of you talking about. Then now we're talking about ethnic backgrounds. So we can't really get into that because let's be fair now. Canelo is a guy that fought UK fighters, Mexican fighters, Black American fighters, Puerto Rican fighters. He's fought a little bit of everything. So we're not going to get into the ethnic backgrounds of these fighters because we know that if there's anybody that's had the resume that says that he's willing to fight almost anybody, Canelo is one of those guys from the previous era of guys that was willing to fight whoever, whenever.
Yeah, because they had to.
Because they had to, and not only that, but because of the way that they were brought up from a promotional standpoint. Who was the guy that built up Canelo originally? Oscar De La Hoya, right?
Oscar, yeah, he knew the blueprint.
Oscar is known for fighting any and everybody. Everybody knows about the famous 1995 run that he had where he fought 5 times in 1 year as a world champion, 3 world championship fights, 2 stay busy fights. That goes to show you right there that the guy is willing to fight any and all comers. So it's no surprise that Canelo has been in there with, a variety of different styles, which I think is what's going to lend him. Yeah, I think it's really been the right hand, man. I think the right hand check hook has been what's kept Cruz on the outside. She can't just lunge in because she knows that she's going to get clipped by something eventually. She just try it again.
For sure. Hey, but check this out. So earlier, when you had took a quick break, they had put up Chris Manning's scorecard, and for whatever reason, I read it backwards. I thought he had it 4-0 Fandora. This idiot had it 4-0 Cruz.
Did he really?
Yeah, and then he just gave the last 4 to Fandora, so he's got it even right now.
To give my guy Chris Mannix the benefit of the doubt and say that was a graphic issue. That's what I'm gonna say, because there's no way, bro. There's no way that he's watching the same thing we watching, and he thinks that it was 4-0 after 4 rounds.
Nah, bro. He had it 4-0 Cruz. He had it 4-0 Cruz. Chris Mannix be tweaking. That's why I don't even listen to the commentary half the time. They'll have you thinking something happening that ain't happening, man. That's why I turn the sound down, because I let my eyes tell me what I see. I could see Fundora putting combinations together and controlling the real estate. Man, that left was nasty. Took her off balance.
She's got the strong left hand. She's got the check right hook. Got a strong kicking jab. I think that this level is too much for Cruz. I think it clearly shows a separation level there. And if she doesn't get a stoppage or at least a knockdown, I don't think that this becomes close. I really don't. I don't think this comes close. Yeah. I think this is 9-1, 8-2 all over it. I think we got 9-1, 8-2 written all over this fight if she doesn't get a knockdown or a stoppage in this.
Man, this should be a clean sweep. She's getting the brakes beat off her.
Spending too much time moving around and not enough time planting her feet. You can't win the last round of a fight moving. Too much lateral movement in the last round. You do this in the first round, but in the last round, you can't do that. Not when you're down by at least 6 rounds already. At least 6. Ooh, good left hand. It's interesting that her brother's not southpaw. I wonder if that's because she's actually. Oh.
You must be ahead of me a little bit. What's your timestamp? Oh,
it was like 140.
She done.
Yeah,
she done. Dude, you turn your whole back. It's over. You can't do that.
To be fair, the ref makes a mistake there. So let's talk about that just for a second before we get to the end of the result. If she turns her back, The mistake, in my opinion, is you roll an 8 count. I think you treat that the same as a kneel down. In my
that's
opinion.
a quit. No, that's a quit. The ref.
Would you say the same thing if somebody voluntarily took a knee? They get punched by a jab in the face, and they voluntarily take a knee.
No, that's not shot. So. No, a knee is accepting a knockdown. When you turn your back, it's like waving a white flag. That's how they handle that. She turned her back completely and didn't shell up. She didn't try to defend herself. She just turned her back. So the ref, he did for the protection of the fighter. He stopped the fight. He did the right thing. It was over anyway, but
luckily that's the case, right? Luckily, this is a fight that wasn't close. This wasn't a fight that was to be debated. But in my opinion, I think you count the fighter out. You see if they want to continue. You assess the fighter face to face, and if she doesn't give you the response you want to see, by all means, count it out.
I think in a closer fight, maybe you pull her to the side and you start doing a standing 8 count in a closer fight.
Yeah, she just
the ref been in there for nine rounds.
Just take a knee. Just take a knee and let the ref give you an 8 count, and then you can reassess yourself. But you've lost every round pretty much. And yeah, I mean, I can't argue with it because she was losing every round. So I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it wasn't a close enough fight right there. Like, see, she gave up. Okay, so she did try to shell up, but she literally gave up and never tried to reposition herself. And then she walked off. Okay, that's it right there. You literally walked off. It's ref did right. I'm with him 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
he didn't Tony Weeks this one.
She wasn't going to win the fight. I think that's safe to say. She's the B-side. She spent too much time on the ropes. She didn't roll the dice at any point in the fight to just go for broke and put herself in harm's way. Ultimately, I think this was a fair stoppage only because of that. Because ultimately, she was going to lose the fight anyway. So I know everybody likes to say, well, I've never been stopped. That's something that people put on their resume, right, when you get a new fight. Oh, this fight has never been stopped. But, I mean, she basically voluntarily gave herself up. It wasn't like she was, out of it. She was clearly cognizant of what was going on. She just chose to turn her back, and that was it. So,
yeah, she quit. QUIT. She quit.
It's a good crowd in there, man. Already, I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, because this is the first fight or second fight of the main card.
Of the main card. But the card started with they had 4 on the preliminary.
Yeah, but usually with these kind of fights, you see somebody, you see the lower bowl entirely full right around the co-main. Honestly, especially for this kind of a card, because it's not like they got, a bunch of headliners. I mean, the co-main event is a light flyweight title fight, which most people don't even watch light flyweights. I mean, I do, but that's just me. So seeing this many people in there already in that lower bowl, it's impressive stuff. Footprint Center is, I think, almost 22,000 seats. I'm about to look it up real quick just so I can actually make an accurate depiction. Footprint Center is where the Phoenix Suns play, for those that are not familiar. 18,400 seats. So you're talking about a lower bowl of almost 9,000. That's good attendance for a fight that's 3 fights down the main card. A women's fight at that. So.
Yo, shout out to Facebook. We got a lot of viewers watching from Facebook when we're live. That's not the norm. So shout out to y'all, man.
What up, Facebook? What's good?
Much appreciated for y'all tapping in with us. Usually it's YouTube, but y'all here and y'all rocking, so I can dig it. I'm gonna post this.
We always appreciate everybody that's following from a variety of networks. Obviously, we all the way around. Trying to see if we got any comments on Facebook.
They showing up. They ain't really commenting. They just watching, which we appreciate.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm about to post it on some other channels here on Facebook. It's already on Twitter.
Fandora versus Cruz. Cruz, total punches landed 65.
110 to 65. Not a great percentage. She threw 422 punches. Only landed 26% of those punches, but they were impactful. They were punches that mattered. So that's the most important part. We are going to get to see Alantez. Alantez is fighting up at super middleweight.
154.
Oh
wait, 168. Whoa.
He's up at 168 for this fight. So what that means is that he got an opportunity he had to take because he wasn't going to get anything better out of the way. He may not necessarily be comfortable with. Because Alantez is typically 154, correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
154, 160. I can't remember last time I seen him fight on ESPN. I don't remember what that fight was at.
Because that's when he fought Liam Williams. And he fought Demetrius Andrade. He fought both of those guys down at 154.
That's been a minute, though.
He fought Bektamir Milakuziev, who's a 168. So he's been at 168 at least since 2023. He also fought David Morrell. He fought David Morrell in 2021. So he's been at this weight for a while. We just didn't know that. Okay.
Fulgham, let me see. Fulgham is super middle. It's for a belt, too. He was at 168 versus Bektamir. Bazinian was 168. Yeah, Morrell was 168.
So he's been at this weight at least since 2021. We just
like 4 years. Yeah, he's been at 168 like 4 years. So maybe you thinking of his brother. You know, he could do 54 or 47.
I know for a fact that Alantez was at 154 because he fought Demetrius Andrade. This was just hella long ago. He fought Andrade at what was this? Hold on. Yeah, he did. I'm looking at it right now.
How long ago was that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was 7 years ago.
Yeah. So I just didn't. I just haven't kept up with him.
That was at 160.
And he fought Liam Williams at 160 in 2019. So he moved up in a couple of years. I just wasn't aware.
The lowest he's fought that I could see, I'm going back to like 2013, he was at 54.
Okay.
And then he started doing some catch weights. But he ain't been at 54 in almost 10 years, like 9 years, because he's at 160 in 2015, and he ain't been back down since. So but I know Michael, he does 47 and 54. Like when I talked to him last on social media, he was talking about being able to do both. Like he was like, y'all need somebody. I could come in at 47.
Michael, who you talking about?
Michael Fox.
Oh, his brother. Okay.
His brother. Them some tall dudes. They about your height.
Yeah, man, that's insane. Ain't no way. Ain't no damn way.
You ain't fighting at 160, bro. You a cruiser at minimum.
I ain't been 160 since the 7th grade, okay?
Yeah, you a cruiser at minimum. And that's a stretch.
I ain't been 205 since 2011, okay?
You gotta live in a sauna suit and on a treadmill.
Listen, man, I gotta live on fruits and berries only.
For real, veggies only. Yeah,
so,
like, hey, here's what's crazy. What, I'm 5'6"ish, something like that. I'm 160.
That's what just goes to show you, like,
how the hell Maul making 160?
Bro, Maul is like 6'1.5" diesel, though. Like,
Arrow making 47.
He got back muscles, he got quads, he got calf, he got glutes. He basically has to strip his body like a quarter of his body off.
Yeah, Hot Arrow making 47 and 54. Dude, you're 160 pounds. Stop it.
I mean, if we being honest, that's what all these guys would be.
PJTL was good with you.
If we had same day weigh-ins, that's what they would be. All these guys
In their older age. You know what? Honestly, same day weigh-ins will only affect older fighters. I don't think younger fighters will be as affected by same day weigh-ins because their bodies have more elasticity as far as managing that weight. They can still fight and keep power and all that stuff at a lower weight. They just can't melt down too much. Put it this way: if it was all same day weigh-ins, Bud would have never won a belt at 35 because he was always too big for 35 and he gave away a lot of power. In order to be as successful as he wanted to be, he would have needed to be at 140 from the beginning. That's the only difference. Errol would have been at 54 5 years ago and probably be at 60 or 68 right now. I'm thinking 60 because he's only 5'9". I say only, even though he's taller than me. It's just, you know what it is.
Well, let's think about it like this. If you have same day weigh-ins, Devin Haney would have had to premiere his career at 147.
Devin would have never been at 35.
And then on top of that, Tank, especially before he started getting serious about his diet and his weight, where would he have been? He easily would have been starting his career at 135. He would have never even been at 130 or 126 before that.
Yeah.
Even
I think he could have started at 30 because he was a little bitty nigga. But I think he probably would have started at 30, but he would have never got to the belt level. He would have had to go up to 35. You know who would have never been at 30?
Who's that?
Shakur. How the hell Shakur?
For 35.
He would have started at 140.
Yeah. Well, I've seen Shakur is literally like all jokes aside, Shakur and Terrence are the same build. Like out of camp, you see both of them together, they look like the same weight class. They look like the same dude, the same, everything's the same. Shakur is stripping 2 extra weight classes off of himself in camp to make 135, and this is his second move up. This isn't his first move up. He started at 126, and he's all the way up at 135 now, and this is 4 or 5 years into his professional career. So, yeah, same day weigh-ins, while they would maybe, force older guys to move up, there are certainly a lot of guys, even the younger generation, that would have had a lot of issues with this. And Ryan is another example. People don't really talk about it because Ryan's frame is not very big as far as
Ryan, the 47-pounder.
Ryan is, his body is begging him not to go back to 140. You can tell because he hasn't had a fight at 140. He's never had a fight at 140.
Yeah, he took that Tank fight for the bag. He had no business down there. He drained the shit out of himself for that fight, but it is what it is. All right, look like Alantez heading to the ring.
Yeah, Alantez is coming in the ring. And the interesting thing is this dude he's fighting, Darius Fulham, he's only an inch or two shorter than him. So this is a unique situation where you're fighting up, 2 weight classes above where you started, where now that height and reach is not as big of a factor. He's fighting a guy with 6'1".
He's seeing more guys his size.
He's 6'2.5", 6'3". So this is going to be interesting to see if the reach issue is something that Fulgham can address, because obviously he's Golden Boy's guy on this. He's their A side. He's the guy
going over the ropes. Hey, some refs don't like that. He went over the ropes.
Really? I wouldn't think they would care. I think the refs need to focus on more important things.
Some refs will make you go between the ropes.
That's insane, man.
Yeah,
who cares?
But if you because Wilder,
who cares?
Wilder go over the ropes. I think Fury does too.
He's 6'7". He better go over the ropes.
Yeah. Like you talk about these giant ass people.
Come on, man. Like the rope only go up to those dudes like ribs. They don't even go up to their waist.
Like mid torso. Like mid torso at best.
You can't expect those dudes to be. I mean, come on.
I remember last time I saw Fulgham fight. I think he stopped his last opponent.
Well, let's see. Yeah, he got 2 rounds. The end of last year, December 2nd last year.
Okay, I'm trying to remember what card that was on.
Yeah, Ryan Garcia undercard.
Which card was he on?
Ryan Garcia's undercard.
Okay. I know I just seen him fight because he was talking shit. Man, I gotta grab me something to eat. Hey, I'll be right back, y'all.
All right, man. Yeah, so they bring in Alantez in as the B side. stepping stool to this guy, but we're gonna see what he's gonna do because he's gonna have the reach advantage slightly, but there's not gonna be much height between these two guys. When you talk about Darius Fulgham, 9-0, 9 knockouts, all knockout victories. From El Paso, trains in Houston. Obviously, you know, that's the kind of guys that Oscar's going to pull. You know, Hispanic American from Texas, probably going to end up being a good ticket seller in Texas, southwest part of the country. So he's hoping that, you know, he's hoping for good things for this guy. But this is a good test. I mean, you fighting a guy in Alantez Fox who's fought for multiple world titles before, hasn't gotten over the hump in that aspect by winning, you know, world titles, but he has fought for them. So we mentioned he fought Demetrius Andre for his WBO title at 160. He fought for an intercontinental title against Liam Williams, and he lost that fight in the UK. And then the other guy he fought was David Morrell for the regular WBA super middleweight title. So he's had a couple of chances at this, but this is probably his last go. If he loses this fight, he becomes either a gatekeeper or he retires, probably. Early 30s, hasn't gotten to the elite level, doesn't have a major promoter behind him when we talk about Alantez Fox. So, yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see how he does with this fight because it's a lot on the line for him in this fight. You lose to a
oh yeah, I do remember him. H-Town.
Yeah, you lose to a prospect, and you know
that's a wrap for you.
Yeah, if you lose to a prospect when you don't have a promoter behind you as the B side, that's not a good sign for what's to come. So this is a make or break situation for Alantez for sure. With 5 losses already, 3 by knockout, he's already had 2 chances at major titles. He's in a 3rd weight class now. If he can't beat a prospect at this weight, it's not a good sign that he's gonna have a chance moving forward to get pushed by another promoter.
Yeah, at this point, if you can't beat him, you're just fighting for the love. Hey man, I'm eating like shit tonight. Don't tell my trainer, all right?
He's only 31, so it's very early in his career still, but he's been around the block already. So it's kind of like, well, where does he go? I mean, unless he's going to want to be a gatekeeper for prospects for Golden Boy moving forward, I mean, what's he going to do? But he is on the front foot, I'll tell you that. He's trying to go for it from the early outset, which is a good sign. I do see that he must have had some kind of a major surgery on his left arm because you can see he has huge scarring across the back part of his left shoulder. I didn't realize that he had such a serious surgery at some point because you can clearly see that he's had scarring on his
like
back.
a rotator cuff or something?
Yeah, like you can see it all over his back. As soon as your feet catches up to mine, you'll see he has scarring like on the back part of his left shoulder. I don't know if that's like stabbing scars or if that's a surgery, but if it's a surgery,
no, that look like bullet wounds, bro. He got 2, 3.
That's crazy.
He got 2 on the right. It's like one is upper shoulder, one is lower shoulder blade.
Yeah, you're right. That's not a surgery for sure.
Yeah, because they're kind of like just oh, those are like burns, like keloids.
Okay, it could be either that or it could be stab wounds. That's what it kind of looks like. It looks like stab wounds.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to Google that, but you know how yeah, it could be like something got infected, anything.
Yeah. Well, he's definitely on the front foot. He knows that he's not gonna win this fight on the back foot, so that's a good sign, right?
He ain't coming to play.
He's coming to try to take it to this guy. This guy's only 9-0. He's probably never fought anybody as good as Alantez. So you figure that this is a shell-shock moment for him to either make or break. And you want to get to the young guy early. You don't want to let him get any confidence.
Yeah.
So he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's supposed to be on the front foot in this situation. But he has to do this because he's the B side. He's expected to lose. So if he wants to pull an upset, he has to go for it. He's not going to get it on the back foot. Spent a little bit more time on the back foot the second half of this round. I don't know if he's a little bit tired, trying to take the rest of the round off, but good backhand. 1-2.
I think he's giving them a different look. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, trying to see his different punching angles, give him something different to look at. That's experience. You have been in there. You have been stopped, so you kind of know. You've been in there with some names. You kind of know it. You know what it looks like from the other end. So I think that I think it's a good strategy for him. Will he be able to keep it up? I don't know. I mean, he's been at 68 for a while, so it's not like he's carrying extra weight. So he should have his stamina under control. Seems to be in pretty good shape. He don't look like a bloated 68. So I think he can keep this up. Yeah. I think he can keep this up.
Looks like a very, very he looks like he wears this 168 weight very well. He kind of reminds me, honestly, and I don't know if it's just because he kind of looks like him, but he's giving me like a Jermaine Ortiz vibe. He kind of looks like Jermaine Ortiz in the face and the body type. They kind of resemble themselves. Obviously, Jermaine Ortiz is down at 140. And Jermaine is a little bit more of a mover than this guy, it seems like. But
Jermaine will sit there and deal, though.
Yeah, well, Jermaine is a very well-rounded fighter, and that's the other thing that we'll talk about eventually. I'm sure we'll get to talk about it in detail. But Teofimo spending all of this time talking about everybody but the fight he's got coming up. And I would just say, well, hello. I think you might lose this next fight if you ain't focused.
Man, Tio about to beat the brakes off Jermaine, bro.
Okay.
He too athletic. He too athletic. Okay. The only variable I have in that fight is if Jermaine been melting himself. Jermaine been melting himself down to 35, and that's why he hadn't looked his best.
They fighting 40 though, T.
That's what I'm talking about. So I know, but this is where I'm going with that. If that's the case, and Jermaine is actually at his proper weight, so he's got his power, he feels more comfortable, his stamina is better, then he could give Tio a good fight. But man, Tio about to beat Jermaine up, bro. He too athletic. And after what I seen him do to Josh Taylor, I just don't see Jermaine having it.
I give Tio his respect. Because I didn't believe him. I wasn't a believer before the Josh Taylor fight. But I will say this. Josh Taylor is a guy that has to fight on the inside of a taller guy. Jermaine Ortiz, for everybody that forgets, Jermaine Ortiz won 4 of the first 6 rounds against Loma. Guess how many rounds? Tio won the first fight, the only fight he fought against Loma. 4 of the first 6 rounds. So I understand that people are giving Tio the favorite. Obviously, he's the guy. He's the lineal champion. He's the former unified champion. He deserves
That wasn't the same Loma, though. That wasn't the same Loma. Loma was coming off the war.
Wasn't? But I would also say, in Loma's defense, was he healthy? Because he would tell you that he was healthier when he fought Jermaine Ortiz than he was when he fought Tio, because he had a shoulder injury.
But let's go back. Let's go back to your favorite thing, though. Inactivity. Okay. You've been out the ring and you're older.
I feel you. He had fought before that, though.
That was his first fight after the war.
Let's see.
Pull it up. He had at least a year off because they made sure he had that fight before he fought Devin.
You're right. You're probably right.
Yeah,
probably right.
And that's what everybody was saying. Like, nah, that ain't Loma. Loma was just rusty. He gonna give Devin a better fight. That's what they were saying. And it turned out he did give Devin a better fight than I thought he gave against Jermaine. But he let that 12th round go, and that was the one that sealed the fate.
So here's the thing, though. People are getting this mixed up. He fought twice in 2021. He fought Nakatani, the tall Japanese dude that Teo had a hard time with. That was in June. He fought Richard Comey in December of 21, and then he had 9 months off and he fought Jermaine.
Yeah. Now, Loma's what, 35? Loma's what, 35?
What is he now?
36?
He's 35 now.
So he was 33 then.
He was 33 on a 9-month layoff. That's not that bad. When you think about it, a lot of dudes take 9 months off. A lot of dudes.
But what I'm saying is he still was off.
Go ahead.
He still was off, though.
Yeah.
And he fought a good fighter. I think he fought
a former world champion and a former world champion challenger in 2 fights in 2021. I feel you that he was probably closer to his prime in 2020 than 2022, but he also did much better. He also did much better. Yeah. He also did much better the second half of that fight against Teo than he did in the first half. And to me, that was just hesitancy from the shoulder injury. That's just my opinion on it. I gave Teofimo full credit because I was hoping Teofimo won. I was tired of Loma being considered #1 pound for pound. I was rooting for Teo in that fight. But I got to be honest when I say that I thought that Jermaine Ortiz was up after 7 rounds. I thought he was up 4-3.
No, I had it a draw. I had that fight a draw at the end, but they gave it to Loma. I mean, I saw it, oh, that's a low blow. Ortiz faded, but I don't think I think he had enough cachet in the beginning to be there. Hey, chat, how y'all got this fight scored? Because we going into the 4th?
Third.
How you got it so far? 1-1?
It's gotta be 1-1.
I gave the first one to Fox.
Yeah, I thought Fox won the first one on the front foot. I think he took a little bit too much time off in the second round. I got it 1-1 even. He spent a little bit more time trying to counter in this round because it seems like Fulam is trying to push the pace here. He's realizing that this is going to be a more difficult fight than he probably anticipated, so he's going to have to step on the gas a little bit.
And the thing about it, when I saw Fulgham before, he just overwhelmed his opponents. Alantez ain't intimidated. He ain't worried about the power. He ain't worried about speed. He's seen some stuff. He been in there with Boo Boo, awkward southpaw.
Yeah.
So, things like that pay off at this point in your career. Like you said, he's early 30s, so he's not, faded or washed necessarily, but he's experienced and he's been in there with some names that have given him the tools that he needs to be better against a prospect.
I agree.
So it makes you wonder, why would Golden Boy match Fulgham up with this dude in his 10th fight?
Ultimately, honestly, I think that Golden Boy doesn't have the room to keep guys around just to keep guys around. And I think that they are saying sink or swim after 10 fights. This guy is 9 fights in. He's had some tick over.
Show me something at this point. Yeah.
If you can't survive against this guy, then what are we doing paying you? You're not going to make it to world title contention if you can't beat Alantez Fox. So why are we keeping you around? He's been with Golden Boy since 2021. He's 3 years in. He's had 9 fights, so basically 3 fights a year. What else are we going to find out?
That's kind of inactive for a prospect. Did he start late? I think this is one of them guys that started late.
Late 2021, but he's only, 27? So he's only, he started his pro career at 24.
He started late. Okay, that makes sense then. Those guys aren't as active early on. He caught him clean right there with the overhand. Yeah, Fox kind of. Okay, so my concern is a real thing. I was wondering if he could keep up the movement and the strategy that he had, and it looks like he's kind of worn down already because he's trying to make it a dirty kind of inside fight, and he's not getting the best of it. He's not active enough, and he's not tying him up. He's just in there trying to just hit, but it's just not there. What's your timestamp?
13 seconds left. I think I'm a little bit ahead of you.
You're 8 seconds ahead of me. So we're close.
This is a tough round.
I'm gonna give it. I feel like Fulgham is in control of it though. He's getting the better, cleaner shots, and when they're on the inside, he's doing the better work. Like he's working those uppercuts. He's changing his angle. Like he's using good footwork. You could just see from a strategic standpoint, the youth is winning against the experience in those regards. When they fight at range, I think Fox is at the advantage, but he keeps giving up his distance and his advantage by trying to go inside, and then he don't do no work. He just get in there and hit, and throw a punch every 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think Fulgham, they got him ranked currently. Obviously, this is just BoxRec rankings. They got him ranked 106th. So if he wins this fight, we need to see him in. Let me see who's in the top 100 at 168. Somebody else. I'm trying to.
Which sanctioning body is he ranked highest?
Let's look. Let's see, because I don't know. Probably he's probably not even in the top 15. If he's at 106 on BoxRec, he's probably not. He's probably not in
20.
He's probably not in the top 15 of any ranking yet. Let's see. 168.
All right, so back to the action. A little back and forth here, then the center of the ring.
Yeah, he's not in the top 15 of anybody's sanctioning body yet.
Okay. Fox trying to make a good show for himself. You got to give him credit for that.
I would say a guy like Kyron Davis is probably the next guy he needs to see.
Oh, that would be a good fight. I like Kyron Davis, but I think he'll beat him.
Kyron Davis is probably Kyron Davis.
Kyron Davis is tough. Wait, is he permanently at 68 now? Because remember when he fought Benavidez, he came up from 60 to fight him. He won.
I wouldn't imagine he's going to go back down once he got to win at 160. He's not going to win a title at 160.
Well, I mean, it's a better shot at 160 than 68.
I mean, only because they don't have an undisputed champion, but not. I mean, the money might not be as good down there, right? You got to think about the guys he would even fight for a belt down there. Wouldn't be necessarily anything to.
He ain't finna get no money at 68 either. Might as well get a belt. Put champion on your resume.
I mean, you don't think he'd make good money to fight Pacheco?
Maybe.
That's a great fight, in my opinion. I think that's like the perfect in-between fight for Pacheco before he fights a Munguia or a guy like, well, she don't need this for this guy, but like a Berlanga or he don't need it for that dude. I mean, I think personally, this is just my opinion. I think that Matchroom is going to find out in the next 6 months because I think that Berlanga's going to win his next fight against Patrick McCrory, but I think he's not going to lose. Patrick McCrory is a real fighter. Like, he's a real dude. Like, he's not nothing to be messing around with. I think he wins that fight, but I think he doesn't look great. I think they then throw him in with Pacheco, and I think Pacheco gets him up out of there, and then they just get rid of him, to be honest.
Maybe.
And then
I don't have any faith in Berlanga, personally.
I think they do the Mexico versus Mexico with Munguia and Pacheco, and they do it in San Diego or they do it in LA, and it's a huge fight, and it's probably for a vacant title at some point when, Canelo has decided that he's not going to fight a mandatory that doesn't make him a whole lot of money, and he wants to fight a Crawford or somebody else.
Low key, that's kind of weird. All these other undisputed champions, they have been forced to break their belts up. They ain't make Canelo breaking belts up. They know where the money at.
That's not weird, bro. Now
that tell you everything you need to know about boxing. Is all I'm saying.
Well, all I was saying is this: which belt is it that actually is next in the rotation?
Oh, I don't know. I would have to do some research. I'm just saying in general, it kind of lets you know.
He fought the BO mandatory in John Ryder before they called it. The BC mandatory is Benavidez. The only reason they're not calling that is because there's probably already some written, unwritten paperwork agreement that he's going to fight him this year. The BA is a PBC favorite belt. He's with PBC. They're not going to call it. The only one that you can think that would maybe strip him is IBF. And let me look and say,
when did he defend that belt? Like, who did he beat for it, and when did he defend it? The IBF. Who did he beat for it, and when did he defend it?
From Caleb Plant. What was that? 3
years ago, 2021. Right before Terrence beat Sean.
Yeah, November of 21.
Them fights were like a 4 weeks apart.
You want to see Canelo fight William Skull?
It doesn't matter. That's a mandatory. You gotta fight him. Just defend the belt so they don't take it.
You want to see him fight Vladimir Shishkin?
Bro, I don't want to see him fight none of them people. I don't want to see him fight none of these mandatories. I want him to fight the dudes that have been asking to fight him.
So I think that's the only reason why the IBF has not been giving him a hard time. It's because they're looking at their rankings like, do we really want to strip Canelo and have William Skull fight Vladimir Shishkin as the third fight down a World of Boxing card in Russia? Do we really want to do that? Probably not. That 3% would go from like 8 mil to like 300,000. Like real quick.
And I mean, they get more money. They get more money with him trafficking them belts to the ring because as a unified champion, you defend all your belts unless stated otherwise. So he's defended since he became undisputed. He's fought 4 times. So they've he fought twice in 22.
He fought Ryder. He fought Jermell, so he's fought twice as undisputed champion.
No, well, so when he fought Bivol, that was at 75, so that don't count. They ain't get no money off that. Then he fought, what's his name? Triple G.
Yeah, so three times. Triple G, Jermell, and Ryder.
Yeah. So they've gotten sanctioning fees 3 times. They definitely ain't about to strip them, but there's some bullshit. But hey, you know what?
Gold, bro.
You know what? My guy sat on his belts for a couple years too. So I'm just talking shit. I'm just talking shit.
I'm like, hold on. The same dude who Spence didn't fight for like 3 years. Bakram Murtazalia. We talked about that dude the first year that we had this podcast in 2021. He still ain't fought that dude. That dude still ain't got a fight. So
he got too many consonants in his name.
And guess what, bro? And guess what? It's for the same belt.
Yeah, exactly.
Same talking about the idea. So the IBF certainly picks and chooses, just like any other belt.
They pick the
but
money.
They pick and choose when they want to go ahead and enforce that. They put that on mail.
You know why they get to play it like that though, and don't nobody really say nothing? Because they not out in front like Suleiman. The WBC is always in the news. That's why people pay so much attention when they do shady shit. But the IBF, they do it low key. They have a random meeting, and then all of a sudden, the number one challenger does not get a title shot. Some random dude will come up the ranks to get a shot.
Well, I'm looking right now while we're speaking about the IBF. The IBF welterweight rankings are not rated for number 1 or number 2. Number 3 is Cody Crowley, who turned down Jaron Ennis. You know who number 4 is? Number 4 is Giovanni Santalan.
Oh,
it's Giovanni
coming off a loss?
No. Giovanni Santalan that smoked
Rocha.
Golden Boy. I forget his name.
Alexis Rocha.
Yeah. Alexis Rocha. He smoked him in like.
He did smoke him. He knocked him out.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think he wins the fight, but it's a lovely fight to watch. I would love to see that.
Boots and Santalan?
Santalan, please. He ain't gonna fight a unification fight. Boots ain't getting no unification in the next fight. Call that, because Crowley already turned the fight down. He was supposed to fight him on the undercard of.
So Boots can backdoor unify. He can fight.
Who?
He could backdoor unify by fighting an interim champ. He could fight Barrios. Barrios, the WBC interim.
I mean, listen. If they do that instead of Santalan, I'm not going to be mad. It's certainly easier for them to make because Barrios is already with them. They don't have to deal with another promoter.
That's what I'm saying.
Barrios has not proved that he has the power that respects the amount of punishment that he takes. If you were a guy
I disagree. Go ahead. I disagree. Go ahead. No. Finish what you were saying, then I'll follow up.
The reason I said that is because I haven't seen him, other than Ugas, I haven't seen him stop or really hurt somebody that I feel like, I was surprised by that with Barrios.
He's only had 3 fights at 47.
Well, he gets hit a lot, and I think that just plays right into what Jaron is. I think that's a perfect style for Jaron. I think that Barrios is there to be hit, and he'll get hit all night long.
I'm not saying Barrios wins. I think it's a good fight, though.
I agree.
I think Barrios is a complete fighter. Huh?
You think it's a better fight than Santalan?
I think those are equally valuable fights.
I do too.
If he fought either one, I wouldn't be mad. Like you said, the easier to make is Barrios. I think it's a good fight, not a great fight. I do favor Boots, obviously, because he does have the skill set that could give Barrios trouble. But I think if Barrios is able to weather the storm, he could give Boots some things that he's not used to. Just like I think people sleeping on Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman would have gave Boots a great fight, bro, but he don't want to get in there because Keith don't want to get hit. Keith don't want to get hit.
How long ago?
Man, Keith's still good, bro. You're going to see. Keith's still good.
Bro, come on, man.
All he gonna do is spit his mouthpiece out and shake back. Keith's still good, bro. He gonna.
Bro, I'm off until he show me because Keith in 3 of his last 4 fights has not looked great. Josecito Lopez, Manny Pacquiao. He didn't look. I mean, he looked okay against Barrios, but
he looked damn good against Barrios coming off a layoff in the injury.
See, that's the thing. Like, I'm not gonna overcredit for inactivity that you choose to have. He had an injury, but there was also some inactivity in there that you voluntarily choose.
Well, so keep in mind, yes, and he said it. He said he chose not to fight in empty arenas during COVID, and he admitted that was his fault. But but so that means that you have no gate. So that means that you're accepting a pay cut after you've worked your way up. Now,
but you're also passing on the momentum that you would have had by still being in people's mind to when the crowds come back, you can make more money and be in a bigger fight. That's my thing.
He wasn't going to be in a big fight regardless. Even if he had fought some random person in the empty arena, nobody was going to be calling for Keith Thurman to fight Errol or Bud because we wanted that unification.
Remember?
But what I'm saying is nobody was asking for that. People was mad. People was mad
because it was at 154 and it wasn't defending. I was mad because he wasn't defending the actual title. If he would have actually fought him at 147, I would have been mad, but not as mad because I'm like, okay, it is a mandatory that he hasn't defended. He won the belt off of Sean Porter in 2019. At least he's gonna fight his mandatory at his prescribed weight. That's my thing. It's like, at least he's gonna fight him at his prescribed weight. If you're not going to fight the dude at your prescribed weight, why are we calling him a mandatory? It's not a mandatory. That was my thing.
I don't know about the mandatory part, but I get what you're saying. All I'm saying is nobody was asking for that fight. So it don't matter if Keith would have fought or not. It wouldn't have mattered. I just think if you have an opportunity to put Keith Thurman in the ring, you're going to do it. And I think that he would have given Boots a really good fight, but he don't want to get hit by Boots. He made that very clear. The money he wanted to fight Boots, he'd have took less money to fight Errol than to fight Boots for whatever reason. And I'm like, boy, Errol will break your body. Like you, Keith, that is the worst matchup ever from a style standpoint.
We already talked about it this morning. We talked about Keith don't like it to the body, so that's not a
pause. He don't like them body shots.
He doesn't like getting hit in the body in a boxing ring. That's very obvious. But I mean, really, when you think about it, I know you're not necessarily going to go all in on this yet because I know that you see him in high esteem, but Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence have more things in common than people really want to talk about.
They do, except I do believe that look like Fox might get stopped, bro. I do believe that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about to be over right now.
I just saw that left hook catch him clean, and he kind of stumbled.
Yeah, Fox about to be retired.
Yeah. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. He put them combos together.
Oh, yeah.
And Fox just falling forward.
Fulam is finally doing what he was supposed to do. He's the younger guy. You're the faster guy. You're supposed to be able to put the punches together, put them together against this older
his
dude.
Punch variety looks good.
It show why Golden Boy signed you and put you in this fight after 9 fights. They putting you in with a world champion less than 10 fights.
Now he got to stop him. You done hurt him. He got to stop him. Ooh. Maybe not this round.
Oh,
he definitely got to stop him.
Left hook again. Come on now. Untie your hands. See, the other thing is like when you get a guy hurt like this where he's reeling, that's when you just got to tap to give him a ball for you, and then you come back with the power. I feel like he's spending too much time to load up as opposed to just tap, and then come with something hard. Go ahead.
Well, or another strategy in that regard, when you got him, you start working the in and out game. So you step in, tap, step back, measure, and you start to use your control game. That's where you put that paw out there and you make the ref tell you to stop doing it. Like Shakur is great at it. He gonna do it until the ref. He measure you and keep that right range and unload that left on you. So if you're right-handed, you hold that left out, you unload that right. That's the way that you stop a guy like this. You start working an in and out game. You tap, you back out, measure, come back in and hit him again. And then you throw like a hook or bring an uppercut, something that he can't see, because he's going to shell up because he knows what's coming. And that's when you catch him slipping.
Agreed. Yeah, I think he really let him out of this round.
For a young fighter, I think it was smart, though, simply because you don't want to be over aggressive and get caught with something you don't see. So I think that his inexperience could have gotten the best of him if he was over aggressive. Like, he didn't just jump on him. This round, his corner's probably telling him, go get him. I don't have the volume on. Are they? They're talking to Fox anyway. But yeah, the ref about to stop it. He got that look. Yeah, he got to show him something.
I think he really is going to need to put something together.
This is a 10-rounder, right?
Yeah, 10 round. Non-title fight, 10 rounds. It's probably I think this is only this dude's maybe his third or fourth fight at 10 rounds.
Oh, see, they brought him to the dock. Yeah. That's not good.
Not
that ref about to have a.
I'm sorry.
Hey, that shirt look like it's choking the shit out there, ref.
That's his shirt from 2004, man. We don't do the wrong.
Bro, that's his career shirt. That's his lucky shirt. He's like, I'm gonna be on Golden Boy tonight. That shirt tight as fuck.
That's his shirt from 2004, man. He ain't got a new one.
Oh, that was a clean shot.
This straight right here.
Yeah.
Put them together now. Put them together.
Oh, hey, his little swivel, his little uppercut is sneaky.
Yeah.
He pouring it on now. Ref about to stop it.
Man. I'm impressed by this kid. For
so
somebody that started the program at 24, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gifted. This is what I saw from him in his last fight against his last opponent. He can overwhelm a guy, but I could see that if he could get in the groove and get his hands going, he has really good punch selection. Bernard says, stop him.
I would like to see him with a premier trainer, because I think a premier trainer gets him the right kind of game plan as he steps up the level.
To start him early.
A lot of fighters end up having to do this. You know, they come in with the trainer that may have trained them as a kid, or may have trained them as an amateur. But once you get to a certain level where you're about to step into the big league, so to speak, I think you need a big league trainer, and a guy like a Manny Robles, a guy like a Robert Garcia, somebody like that, I think would be perfect for this guy, because obviously both of those guys are offensive trainers, offensive fighter trainers. So
Robert Garcia would be the perfect match, bro. And
Robert would be perfect for this guy. Yeah, not because of the relationship with Golden Boy already, but the fact that Robert is a former fighter. He knows what it's like.
He's a damn good coach,
and he knows what he's talking about.
Hell yeah, he's a damn good coach, no doubt. I do think of the people you named. I think Robert Garcia would be a good match for Fulgham, to use the tools that he has and just take him to the next level. Especially like a performance like this is going to put him on some people's radar, even if he's not in the rankings.
Exactly, because I'm looking at it now, and I want to look and see. Because I want to see, like I said it already, but Kyron Davis would be a good fight next. I'm trying to see who else is above him in the record. Desmond Nicholson.
I like Davis. He might be too much. Desmond Nicholson, that's the dude that fought Boo Boo on his PBC premiere last year, right?
Correct.
He knocked Boo Boo down twice.
Well, yeah. Well, once
they called him.
Remember for sure. I know one definitely looked like more of like a pull down. The other one, he hit him to the body. He chose to go down for sure.
Yeah.
So Damon Nicholson, Kyron Davis. I mean, you got Anthony Sims Jr. That's a hard style because Anthony Sims is a pure boxer. So I don't know that you want to throw him in there with a guy that's going to do a whole lot of movement, because that'll be difficult to land on. But Marcelo Cortez, the dude that fought Berlanga in his last fight, and he also fought, who's the last dude? He's fought Berlanga and Pacheco. So he fought Pacheco last. He fought Berlanga on the Fury Wilder card 2 or 3 years ago. That wouldn't be a bad guy to put him in with either. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else on here that's not too far up the range. Jason Quigley, the dude that Boo Boo knocked out in 2 rounds from Ireland. He's a Those are probably the guys I would look at. If I was Golden Boy, those are the 3 or 4 guys that have a name that are familiar. People have seen them fight before, but are just slightly above him in these rankings at 168. Those are the kind of guys I want to see him in with next.
Man, he landed at like a 48% clip.
Yeah, I mean, Alantez is definitely tired. I don't know if this was a short training camp, if he got called in last minute, or if he's off.
I just think the body ain't doing what the body do, but he definitely worn down.
He's definitely tired now. You can tell by his manner, his gait.
Yeah. He's trying. You can see he's trying to be economic with everything, like economic with the punches. He's moving, but he's using like a big gait to move around because he's tall, so you can see he's trying to throw punches but stay at a distance where he's safe. Oh,
yeah, you saw it.
That left on the chin. Yeah. Oh, you saw it. Yeah, that left on the chin was nasty. Now I got to give it to him. He game though. He game as fuck.
I mean, he's not quitting. He's certainly not quitting in this fight.
Yeah, he's a fighter for real.
He's losing this fight.
He's undermanned for this one. He's not giving the ref a reason to stop it.
This is another reason why you got to go with the right promoter, because Golden Boy, Top Rank, PBC, Matchroom, Queensberry, all of those promoters, for the most part, when it comes to prospects they bring up from the very beginning, they have a great way of knowing with their matchmakers when a fighter is ready or when it's sink or swim. And if you ain't ready, then we'll let you go and you can do your own thing. This kind of a fight is perfect for this guy because he's thinking in his mind after this, well, this guy fought Boo Boo. Well, this guy fought Williams. If I can do the same thing they did, then I know that I belong on that level. And this is just a confidence booster for him to go back in the camp to get ready for the level of fight. And this is a fight that I think, you get you ready for 2 or 3 months down the road. You should be back in with one of the guys I mentioned. Kyron Davis, Anthony Sims Jr., if you want to risk the style matchup. Ooh. Ronald Ellis. Ronald Ellis is another one that I said I didn't think about. Ronald Ellis, Damon Nicholson. Those are really the 4. And if you want to include boy from Ireland, Jason Quigley, that's a 5th. Those are the 5 guys I would include. And ironically, Jason Quigley used to be promoted by Golden Boy before he did a 2-match deal with a 2-fight deal with Matchroom. He was with Golden Boy, so I could certainly see them putting him in with that guy. Excuse me. Because let's see here, he's still on a suspension from the New York State Athletic Commission from his knockout in 2023. But that's crazy. It's been 8 months. And still ain't. He
must have been cut too.
But damn, man, that was in June.
Yeah, it's on BoxRec.
Yeah, on BoxRec it says that he's on
BoxRec. Sometimes BoxRec don't update those things if you're not like a marquee guy.
Yeah,
so if you were to go to New York State Athletic Commission website, that's probably lifted if you go directly to their site. Sometimes BoxRec is like Wikipedia.
Yeah, he lost the fight, but he didn't even get stopped. I mean, he got knocked down in the fight, but he didn't get stopped. And
so that means there was an injury. There was an injury.
It was crazy. So
yeah. He has to be clear from an injury. Then that's what it sounds like. What is this? Jaime?
Yeah. So just ultimately going into this fight, what's your thoughts on this fight as a whole, as a matchup? Do you think that Jaime has a harder time with Ryder than he does with Sergey, or do you think it's about the same? What's your thoughts on it as a matchup in general?
This is about to be another tough fight for Jaime because I don't think he's the goods. And I think Ryder, despite losing to Canelo, the way that he fought him and the way that he gave it all and he put out a great showing for himself, that's going to carry him in this particular fight, in my opinion. And he's kind of like a move or lose type of thing. Like if you want to make any additional bones in your career, you got to beat guys like Jaime Munguia. So I think that I think he's gonna be a tough ass fight. Hell, they got Munguia as an underdog, bro. He's plus 230.
They got him as an underdog in an A
plus 230. But A side and underdog don't really necessarily mean nothing in the way that boxing set up now. They got him plus 230 on DraftKings.
I'm looking at CBS Sports has him as a minus 350.
The
CBS
live
Sports.
update had him plus 230
Yeah,
on
this was 7
DraftKings.
hours ago on CBS.
Okay. I mean, and that's possible too. You know, these different apps be having different stuff, but that's a close margin, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next
John
best you could
Ryder,
get is like
John Ryder's plus 500 on Odds Trader right now. Caesars has him as plus 500. FanDuel has him at plus 350. BetMGM has him at plus 290. So, I mean, they all are trending that it's a slight favorite towards Jaime Munguia. But if I'm a big fan with a map, I'll throw 50 on Ryder just because of the last fight, to be honest with you.
Well, I mean, you can make money off a dub. Okay, so I'm looking at DraftKings current stuff. I have Munguia minus 500, Ryder plus 360. So if I pick Ryder plus 360, let me see if I put 20. If I put 20,
I can get you at least 140, at least $140.
Hold on. Well, I'm just putting a bet just to see. I'm about to see what the payouts are. I'm on the DraftKings app now. Let me log in. I'm gonna see the payouts.
I'm guessing if you put a dub on minus 360, that's at least $140 on a dub.
No, so plus 360 on the dub is $92. So you quadruple your money.
Yeah.
You said how much? You said put 40?
I said if you did 50, that would be well worth it in my opinion. $50 is gonna get you at least over $200.
50 gets you 230.
Yeah, I mean
40 gets you 184. You still
the reason I'm saying that is because for the people that didn't get to watch Munguia's last fight, there were 2 instances where he was like 5 seconds.
He almost got stopped. Yeah.
And that's against a smaller guy who's coming up from welterweight, not welterweight, from middleweight to super middleweight, who's shorter, who's not a power guy, who's not as physically imposing as the guy he's going to fight tonight. He's also not a southpaw like the guy he's going to fight tonight either. So the straight left hand is going to be there all night long if Munguia has not improved his head movement. That's not something that.
Oh, never mind. My bad. Go ahead.
They didn't. But Freddie Roach is not a defensive coach anyway. So him going to Freddie Roach is not going to help his head movement because that's not what Freddie Roach does. Freddie Roach is an offensive fighter. He's an artillery fighter. He's the guy that uses offense to create defense. They must have stopped the fight or maybe it just ended. I think that was just the end of it.
Oh, no, I thought it was in round 9.
I think. No, that was the end of the fight. They said points decision.
Oh, that was 10? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so good performance by Fulgham. A little bit of a slow start. Didn't come out in the first round like he wanted. But ultimately, he caught his sea leg, so to speak.
How'd you score it? I had it 9-1 or 8-2.
This is 8-2 all day long for me. I think I gave Alantez the first round, and I gave Alantez the fourth round. I think it was the third or the fourth round. After that, it was a clean sweep on the back end. Alantez was pretty much just surviving the last couple of rounds. And I think that Fulgham is really a guy who we need to look out for moving forward. Because everybody's building up a prospect at 168, right? Top rank,
because they know it's about to come open.
Top Rank has their 168 guys. Matchroom has Ryder. They also got Munguia.
168 at Top Rank. Who's the 168 at Top Rank?
Top Rank 168.
Who am I thinking of?
Super
I'm drawing a blank.
Christian Lilley.
Okay.
Christian Lilley.
Okay. I think I've only seen a couple fights.
Christian Lilley.
I'm gonna mute so I can hear the scorecards.
Christian Lilley is a guy promoted by Top Rank. Matchroom has Diego Pacheco and Edgar Berlanga. They're all kind of putting these guys together to try to get ready to take a title at 168 whenever Canelo disperses those belts, whenever those come available. Majority.
Somebody scored a draw.
I can't see 5 rounds for Alantez. I'm sorry. I just don't. I don't see 5 rounds. I don't.
Bro, the first
2.
judge scored it 95-95. The other judge had it 100-90. Huh?
I see maybe 3 total, max 3. There's no way.
Yeah, nobody gave more than 2 besides that judge. The other 2 judges had it 100-90 and 98-92.
You could count up everybody in the arena, and he would have only had about 8 more in that fight.
Bruh, I don't know what's happening. Man, that manly looking lady's always there. She's a WBA somebody. She got a strong jaw.
Oh my gosh, bro. You gonna get us banned up off of here, man. Watch that.
Hey, listen, I just gotta speak my honest truth.
You're gonna get us banned up off of here, man.
I've said it before. She has a very strong jaw. She's handsome.
God. Oh my God. That's not a compliment for y'all out there that don't realize it.
Hey, the comments of T are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the staff and crew at the mic check.
Right. But yeah, man, I like this dude. I think he I think
he might have the goods.
He's like I said, he's got a good physical frame for 168. I think I certainly could see him at some point moving to 175. And maybe he becomes what they were hoping Zerbo would be at 175.
Or pull a Bernard and stay at 68 forever. Just stay at your weight forever. Majority decision is so ugly because that dude deserved a UD. They robbed him of a UD.
Definitely did. I mean, that ref easily could have called that 6-4 and it wouldn't have been a big deal.
Yeah, that definitely was a UD, man. I don't like that. I don't like that they gave that a draw. That was just stupid. Like, what were you watching?
Yeah.
Even if you gave him the first 3 rounds, from the 4th round on, it was all Fulgham.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, what do you know about these next 2 dudes that's about to fight?
Nothing at all, bro. I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
I will look it up right now because I honestly don't know these 2 guys.
We could talk about something else while that fight is on, honestly, because I'm just waiting for the main event.
Dude, is that I've kept up with the division above them. That's the best that I know. Obviously, flyweight with Bam and Sonny, and super flyweight with Estrada and Chocolatito and Sorung Visa. I have not been really keeping up with light flyweight.
I know what we could talk about.
What's that?
During this fight, since we could be close to the weight class, let's talk about Inoue versus Neary.
What you want to talk about? That's a stoppage victory.
Man.
Hey,
Neary can punch, bro.
That's a stoppage victory to the body all day long and twice on Sunday. What are we going to talk about?
Stoppage to the body. All right, so
Inoue,
go ahead and defend his undisputed one time.
He's not going to do it, just so you know.
He's not going to do what?
He's not going to do it just one time. He's certainly doing that at least 2 more times after this, just so you know.
Okay, so that's where I was going. So you think that he's going to fully acclimate to 22, so he'll have 5 fights at 22 and then go to 26? And do you think that it would carry? I don't think he's going to be able to carry at 26, bro. I think there's a limit to everybody, and I think his limit is 22. I think at 26, bigger punchers, more durable fighters that have been higher and coming down to 26, I think he'll have a much tougher go at 26 than he did at 22. 22 don't have the punches 26 got.
I will say this. With regards to Inoue, I think he fights 3 fights at 122.
This going to be the 3rd.
Well,
so 5.
Has he fought? Yeah, so 5 total, but 3 more is what I should say. 3 remaining.
Okay.
3 remaining. Neary, Akhmadaliev, and who's the other guy I'm not thinking of? It's one other dude.
The black dude, right? I can't think his name. He just lost. He lost that decision, and he should have been a mandatory. I can't think. Aline.
No, Casamero is who I'm talking about. Casamero.
So the now Aline.
The dude that fought. What's the dude from Panama? Horrible fight that happened at the in Carson on Showtime 2 years ago. It was super boring. I don't remember,
but I know who Casamero is.
I can tell you real quick, just in a second when I look at the rankings.
But
The
Ryan,
reason
why
I
Ryan Garcia look like a super welterweight?
well, we already said, bro, he's fighting 2 weight classes lower than he really should. Ryan
Why
is
he like
tall. People don't realize Ryan is taller than Devin.
Ryan's only like 5'9". 5'10".
No. Look at a photo of him and Devin standing next to each other. He's taller than Devin.
Devin's height is not accurate. I've seen Ryan in person. He ain't that much taller than me. So I'm taller than I think, if that's the case.
So you saying that Ryan is only the same height as Errol? Is that what you're saying?
Ryan's like 5'9", bro.
So what are we saying then? Because
Errol is a middleweight, bro.
Oh, okay then. So what? So then what's that make Ryan then if they're the same height?
Ryan is a super welterweight.
There you go. So he's only 1 division below him at the same height. So yeah, he's fighting. For most of his career, he's been 2 weight classes below where he should have been, and now he's only 1 below. Okay, yes.
Hey.
So it's John Riel Casamero who fought and beat Guillermo Rigondeaux at the end of 2021 in that horrible fight that was in Carson on Showtime Championship Boxing, where he won that WBO bantamweight title. That's going to be the 3rd guy, and there's only one reason. The reason for that is because they're not going to do anything with Raees Alim unless Raees Alim is allowed to cross over and he becomes mandatory, because John Riel Casamero is hated in Japan. Hated. People don't like him, just like they don't like Neri because he beat Yamanaka and then tested positive for those performance-enhancing drugs and then got suspended by the Japanese Boxing Commission. That's the only reason they're even letting him go back over there, is because they want to see Inoue beat his ass.
Hey, y'all. For the record, Q is the master of getting these weird ass names right, because I never know. He get them better than the announcers.
Nah, man, that's because I need to be an announcer. Somebody's supposed to have hired me about 2 or 3 years ago. I've been saying this, man. I watch football, basketball, boxing matches. I'm saying something, and they repeat it right after I finish saying, I need a job.
You got to get on the nightcap. You got to get on the nightcap with Unc. You know he working on the job for Ocho. You'll be next. Get on there with Unc.
You know, Unc, I'm available whenever you need me, fam. I'm available whenever you need me.
Yeah, you know, them days when Gilbert busy, they call you.
The three fights he's gonna have are gonna be, he's gonna fight Neri next. Mm-hmm. He either fights Casamero right after that, or he fights Akhmadaliev and then Casamero. And then I think he goes to 26.
So why are you throwing Akhmadaliev in there?
The reason that I throw Akhmadaliev in there is because Akhmadaliev has positioned himself to be mandatory for 2 sanctioning bodies. He did that in his last fight. Let me look and see which belts they were for. I believe it's for the 2 belts that he already lost.
That's gonna be WBA and WB and IBF. WBA and IBF.
He's number 1 already with the WBA, and he's number 3/number 2 because the number 2 slot in the IBF is not ranked in the IBF ranking. So he's number 2, number 3 with the IBF. So he's already considered a quote unquote mandatory that has not been called yet. He's probably going to be called for the WBA. And he's fighting Luis Neri, who is his WBC mandatory. And I'm pretty sure the next rotational mandatory is going to be the WBA. So I think Casamero would be a voluntary if they allow him to have one. And then he would have to fight Akhmadaliev if he wants to stay at the weight for one more fight. If he doesn't, he can go up. But if he goes up, he's looking at probably Nick Ball, because I think Nick Ball is going to beat Ray Vargas. That's just my opinion. But I think
Nick Ball, the heartbreaker. I want to see him in there with Figueroa.
But Figueroa's
at 26, ain't he?
Yeah, he is, but he got to get a belt. Anyway's not going to fight him.
I thought Figueroa was an interim champion. I thought he had a belt. Yeah, he was supposed to be fighting for a vacant belt against Maxayo, remember?
He was supposed to be fighting against Maxayo, but that fight never happened. I'm looking at the rankings right now.
It did. It did because he didn't get to fight. He didn't get to fight Cool Boy. Cool Boy was supposed to go up and fight him for a vacant belt, for an interim belt. Matter of fact, he's supposed to fight for the interim WBC.
Fought because Brandon Figueroa's last fight was against Max Sayo. It was for the WBC interim belt that he won. Currently, Ray Vargas is fighting Nick Ball as the co-main event to Fury Usyk in Saudi on February 17th.
But
go ahead.
Ray Vargas went up to 30, didn't he? And
he
lost.
Up to 30. He lost.
That's why that. So
he retained that title, and he has a mandatory. His mandatory is Nick Ball from the UK, Queensberry promoted fighter by Frank Warren. He's fighting in Saudi Arabia. I'll let him cross the street to go get that bag because he didn't have a fight for him at home that was worth enough money. He's probably going to lose that fight. I'm just letting all the PBC fans out there know. I don't have a very high opinion of Ray Vargas. I don't think he's all that good. I think he's going to lose.
So Ray is okay, but not great.
Exactly. And I think that Nick Ball is as good of a power puncher as O'Shaquie Foster. He's just not the boxer that O'Shaquie is. O'Shaquie's a better boxer than Nick Ball, but I don't think
O'Shaquie a fucking dog.
I don't think Nick Ball's going to need the boxing skill to beat Ray Vargas. I think he gets to the inside and he's going to hit that tall frame. And I think eventually Ray Vargas is going to give it up. That's just my opinion. Nick Ball wins that fight. So I think the guys that Inoue is going to have to look at is going to be Nick Ball, whoever wins the Ray Ford versus Komatov fight, which is another fight we're going to have to talk about because that has a lot of ramifications. Because if Ray Ford loses, then that effectively means that all the belts at 126 are with Top Rank / Queensberry, because Nick Ball is with Queensberry. They have a good relationship with Top Rank. They could easily make a fight happen. Because you already got Luis Lopez, you already got Rafael Espinoza, who beat the dude from Puerto Rico. What's his name? Can't remember his name. Anyway,
deep undercard fights.
I don't remember his name. He beat the dude. I don't know why I can't think of his name. He fought in Japan before that. But at any rate, all the belts would pretty much be with the Top Rank / Queensberry side of things.
PBC don't need no belts anyway right now because they ain't got no show dates until end of March. So you really need no belts over there anyway.
Because to be honest, if they got 12 fight dates for sure, 14 max between the end of March.
I'm still looking at 4 per month, easy. No, not 4, 2 per month or something like. Wait.
2 change per month. 2 is the change. So maybe one month you do 3, the next month you do 2, so forth and so on. But you only got 12 to 14 between basically April and December, and you got to put your highest, attraction fighters on those because essentially it's a trial run. From everything I understand,
so
they're not getting any budget. So
which is fine because he's just going to get the investor to do it, but you're going to go because you're not really getting a network investment when you go this route.
Correct.
You're just getting a platform for your fights to be displayed, but so you got something basically
reviews, in my opinion, because they're not going to want to guarantee the money on their end and take the risk. They're going to say, we'll put you out to the open market and just see what you bring back, which is why I say that they're going to put the top.
Eat what you kill, which pay-per-view is supposed to be eat what you kill.
Right.
If you can draw the people, you get to be on paid TV. If you can't draw the people, you get to do show fights. But so you got one at the very end of March to kick it off. So really that's April. That's really April. So you're probably going to see between March, April, you're going to see 3 pay-per-views. You're going to see one that last week in March. 2 weeks into April, you're going to see something. And then 2 weeks after that, you're going to see something. So basically 3 April pay-per-views. And you're going to see their marquee. Well, you're going to see Keith Thurman to kick it off. But then somewhere in there, I guarantee you it's going to be a Gervonta Davis fight. Abdul Wahid fight.
Who does he fight, though? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I don't.
It's going to be Rayo Valenzuela because I don't want to see that.
Well, now that Pitbull is off the table, it's got to be Rayo.
Well, I ain't paying for that. Newsflash.
It depends on what's.
I ain't
It,
paying for that. I'm not
it
watching
depends
that.
on what's on the card, bro. Well, I'm gonna pay for it because I want to see it, and I'm a Tank fan, but
Because I don't like
ultimately,
stealing stuff. I don't like stealing things from people that worked hard. I understand that all these boxers put their lives on the line, and they risk their lives, their health, being away from their family, is all that stuff. I'm not gonna steal it like a lot of these other people are going to do because they don't want to pay to watch the fight. I ain't doing it. Okay.
I got a link, y'all. I got a link, y'all. No. I mean, I support the fighters. We pay for all the streams.
Hi, since you came in the camera.
What's happening, fam?
Say hi.
What's happening, fam? You on camera now?
You already on camera? You already came in the camera. You walked in the door.
You already on the camera now. She came for the main event. You're a little early. They giving us fluff right now.
So here's what I will say. If it's a standard pay-per-view like they've been doing, where they got to pay Abdul Wahid, aka Tank Davis, so much money that they can't put nothing on his undercard that's worth watching, I ain't buying it. And I'm not going to watch it, and I'm not going to steal it because it's not worth my time or my energy. I'm just not going to do that. That's a foregone conclusion fight. He fights Rayo Valenzuela. I can tell you right now what's going to happen.
Sleeping that boy.
The same thing that happened to Ryan Garcia, just faster, because Rayo is a dude who's a pressure fighter. It's just going to be faster. So that's not going to really tell me anything. Honestly, it comes back to what I've been saying, bro. Who have I been saying for over a year that he needs to fight?
Devin?
No. He ain't going to fight Devin. Everybody knows he don't want to fight Devin. He ain't going to fight Devin. He ain't going to fight him at 140. He won't fight him because they can't agree on weight. He won't fight him because they're on separate platforms. He won't fight him because they know that they're going to compete for streaming pay-per-views now.
He won't fight him because Devin wants too much money to fight him.
Devin wants too much money, but Devin also ain't going to do. Devin ain't going to do no catch weights because Devin already makes great money. Devin makes his own money. He don't need.
But here's the thing about that. You can't say you chasing legacy if you're not willing to risk it all.
Risk what though? What are we risking it for though?
No, but for legacy, because if you say we're fighting for legacy, you're going to forgo. You're going to forgo common sense. Because let me tell you this: legacy and common sense don't live in the same place. Here's why: you can affect your legacy, but you have to make what's going to be generally considered bad decisions. For example, Errol Spence took a chance to affect his legacy, fighting the guy he knew he could not retire without fighting, despite the fact that he knew he was giving away every single advantage. He knew that. He fought him anyway. That's legacy decision. Terrence Crawford, legacy decision. If Devin is pursuing legacy, you fight Tank on his terms and you beat his ass. That's fighting for legacy.
Here's what I'm going to say, though. Here's what I'm going to say, and this is my pushback on it. There was a perfect opportunity for that fight to happen before Devin acclimated to a new weight class. There was plenty of times. So right after he won the WBC title, when Teofimo lost and Devin was a free agent, Tank had two decisions he could have made. He could have fought Kambosos to win all the other titles that he had won before he signed with Top Rank, or he could have fought Devin because Devin was a free agent, because remember, he ended up going to Top Rank to fight Kambosos for those titles. Mm-hmm. That was the perfect opportunity to do it because they were both still in the same weight class. Now, with Devin having already moved up, and now he's talking about whether he wants to stay at 140 or move up to 147, to then ask somebody to then turn around and come back down to 135, to me is unfair, because that would be the same thing like if Errol had said, okay, I can't make 147 anymore. He goes and has a fight at 154. And then Crawford says, oh, I want to fight you now, but you got to fight me at 147. That wouldn't be fair to him to do that, even though legacy calls for it, because this same dude who's asking you to come back down has already fought at 140, T.
Hey,
he already fought there, though.
But listen, bro, I'm going to tell you like I tell everybody, fair is a place where you ride the Ferris wheel and get funnel cakes. It's not where you do business. It's not where you do business.
I'm not saying fair. I'm not asking for fair. What I'm saying is if you were willing to fight Barrios at 140, don't tell me that 140 is too big of a weight. You fought him there.
He fought him there with a rehydration clause.
That's cool. I think that Devin would do that. I don't think Devin would do a rehydration clause plus a catch weight.
They wouldn't. They already said they wouldn't.
I think that that's just their stance to try to negotiate. I don't think that I really believe that that's fully true, because I think if it's one or the other, I think that they would be open to it. I don't think that they would be open to both, because you have to think about it. If it had been for undisputed, let's say when Devin was still an undisputed champion at 135, there would have been a potential of them trying to petition to get that IBF ruling put in there if they had fought then anyway. Now, it's not typically. They would have had to, but what would have Tank said? Tank would have said the same thing he's saying now. Devin fight nights at 165. So if we're going to make this fight happen, as me being the A side, I'm the guy that's bringing all the money, I'm going to need some assurances that this dude is not going to fight me at 160, 175 pounds or whatever he comes in the ring at. I just don't see that fight happening. And the fight I'm saying needs to happen now. He has to fight Frank Martin. He has to. If he doesn't fight Frank and he fights Ryo instead, bro, that's a cherry pick.
I like the fight against Frank Martin. I think it's a much more competitive fight. And I like both of them. I like Frank and Tank. But I know it ain't going to happen because, Errol is not going to send Frank over there if he can. Because Errol's on the back end. We know this. If Errol fight 2 more years, I'll be surprised. So he got to have a dude that he can make some money off of until he gets somebody else.
He need to sign a new dude because Frank ain't it. That's what I say.
Frank is it. What you mean? Frank can fight, bro.
If Frank is it, you put him in.
But you don't put him in there right now. You're going to listen. The reason you don't put Frank in there against Tank is because you're looking at 80-20. So you cashing out your biggest dude. You cashing out your best bet at 20%.
What? Okay.
You're a promoter, bro. You don't do that.
Frank turned down the opportunity to fight for the vacant title against Shakur for whatever his reasons were.
Yeah, that was stupid.
He's already decided to do that. Right? There's already rumors that he ain't with Derek James or Errol anymore. There's already that out there because of the situation with them agreeing to that fight without telling him they agreed to it, because he said, no, I wanted X, Y, and Z in the contract. When it got to me, it didn't have that in it. I don't know why y'all would even tell the public that we agreed to that fight, because they don't have what I asked for in it. So that already is a rumor that he's leaving that dude. He already passed up one opportunity. He's going to pass up the biggest opportunity financially in the division to do what? He ain't moving up. He's fairly short for the weight he's already at. He ain't going to 140. So who else are you
up there? Tszyu ain't tall.
Tio's not tall, but Tszyu also
Jermaine ain't tall.
PBC.
No, I'm getting at as far as changing weight classes. Frank could potentially go to 40 or even 47. He's a big dude.
Do you think Frank is as skilled as Teofimo?
No, I didn't say that. I think, they have different skill sets, but I think that there's things that I think Tszyu is super athletic, but I think Frank is more athletic. I think Tszyu overall is from a boxer standpoint, I think he's a better boxer, but I think that there's some tools that Frank has that he's better at that Tszyu is not. That's just my opinion.
Here's the reason that I ask you that, because Tszyu's been very strategic, right? He didn't move up 140 until the belts had dispersed, right? Yeah. He wasn't going to fight Josh Taylor when Josh Taylor was still the guy before he became undisputed. Before he became undisputed, he was still at the top of his game. He beat Jose Ramirez, and then he lost to Jack Catterall. Everybody knows that. He lost to Jack Catterall. Yeah. So that's when he decided to fight him, was after he saw the chinks in his armor, right? Now he's at 140. He's got the WBO. You think he's going to fight Devin? No. You think he's going to fight Matias? No. Is he going to get to fight Roelly, Ryan / Barroso / Isaac Cruz? No. So he's just biding his time at 140 until Terrence Crawford moves up, and he's going to do the same thing with the BO or with another sanctioning body at 147. He's moving very strategically. And I can't blame him for that. But that's the reason he's able to get away with the skill set. The reason I ask you about Frank is because I don't think that Frank is going to have the same push that Tszyu has to put him in those positions. That's why I think Frank has to take a risk at some point because he's already passed up on one career high payday. He going to pass up on two?
So, but my thing is, there's no benefit for Tank offering him the fight. So he's not going to have to pass it up because it ain't going to get offered.
Well, hell, if Tank going to fight Ryo, then I'm just telling you, I ain't watching it. I'm not paying for it because that's not an entertaining fight. That's not a fight that I want to see. It's not a fight that's intriguing to me.
But you also have to add in the fact that you really don't mess with Tank like that, too.
Well, here's the thing. Everybody that's fans of Tank is going to watch no matter what he does, right? So that's fine. That's cool. I can appreciate that to a certain extent that you have fan support that's willing to support you no matter what you do. But the only reason he got the buys and the viewership he got with the Ryan Garcia fight was because there were people that wanted to see that fight specifically. It wasn't just the people that normally watch Tank's fights.
Oh, for sure. He got the super casual.
If you want that kind of a payday or even half that payday, you have to fight the fights that other people want to see you in, even if they're not necessarily a fan of you.
But that's the thing. So that's the thing, though. So you're talking about Frank, right?
Yeah.
From a casual perspective, the people that blow up pay-per-view numbers, they don't care about Frank or Jose. Them people the same. That's the same, huh?
I'm saying though, but they don't care about Ryo either. So what difference does it make?
No, that's what I'm getting at. They don't care about Ryo or Frank. So if I'm Tank, I could pay Ryo less, and I'm probably gonna have an easier fight.
You think they have to pay him less than Frank? Because I think Frank don't have nothing to stand on either, to be honest.
But Frank has some people that will be willing. They've already shown that they'll walk away from a fight. Ryo has been in motion, and he's trying to make a name. So you're coming off a stoppage win on a revenge fight. You're trying to get back in the limelight. Why not take that bigger payday? Because if you lose, you got nothing to lose if you're Ryo. Because it's like, well, I already had a loss. If I lose the Tank, it don't matter. I get to be on pay-per-view in front of people, and maybe I'll put on a good show before he take me out. But I just got a career bag. For Frank, I don't think that that's his ambition, partly because of his age as well. So he's trying to be as economic as possible with his opportunities, even though I feel like I don't care what the numbers were. He should have fought Shakur. I think I'm more upset that he didn't take that fight than I would be if he turned down a Tank fight.
I agree with you. I agree with you that Ryo and Frank are equally as appealing to the casual audience, which is not very much.
Right.
I think I agree with you that I'm upset that Frank didn't take the Shakur fight. I think I'm just more upset that he wouldn't take a Tank fight, which we already know at this point, it doesn't look like that's what's going to be offered anyway, because there's no rumors that he is going to offer it to him. But I'm just telling you, man, like, Tank is running out of options for viable fights that pay him what he believes that he should be making now, because you know that that's what he's thinking, right? He's thinking, I could pay I don't want to come all the way back down to my 225, 275 paydays.
200,
mate. I don't want to come back down to that when I just did $1 million and made 30, 32, 34 million dollars. I don't want to go back down to making 8, 9 million.
The biggest thing I think in what you're saying too, though, is that you only got 2 big money fights for Tank. It's either Shakur, actually I'll say 3. Shakur, Haney, and Tszyu. Those are his biggest money fights. Haney is because who you got?
Loma.
Ain't no money in fighting Loma.
I think it is, because I think what you get is all of the detractors. I think you get all the detractors that aren't necessarily Tank fans but want to see him lose. The people that have been asking him to fight Loma for 5 or 6 years, I think that those people will still watch that fight. While I think it still favors him now because of the age factor, I think that people will still watch that. Now, it's not as big as the fights you're talking about, but it is a fourth option.
No, I agree. He could make money fighting Loma, and he'll make more than it would be fighting anybody else. So you've got basically 3 tiers of money for Tank. The top tier is going to be Shakur, Tszyu, Haney, right?
Yep.
The next tier is going to be Loma, and maybe I would say there will be equal interest in him fighting Pitbull, just because there's that slight variable that people say, I don't like to fight, but there's the variable of the fact that Tank didn't knock him out. That's the last guy to see the final bell against Tank. So you could sell that. So that puts, I would say that's a 350,000 view pay-per-view. Same with Loma. I think the other fights could get him to 500. Everything else is 200 or less. Tank versus Haney, who wins? I don't know, man. I feel like that's a video we should do. I don't really want to talk about it right now, but I know who I pick. And I've said it. I got Tank. But I think that there's some nuance to that conversation that I'd rather us talk about in a separate video. But if you just had to pick off top of your head, if you had to throw down $5, who would you put your money on in that fight?
135 Tank, 140 Haney by unanimous decision.
135 Tank, 140 with a rehydration tank. If you let Devin Haney come to the ring as a damn super middleweight, then yeah, he might have a good chance to beat Tank. And I still think he could get knocked out.
I think even with the rehydration clause, same day, weigh in at 150, he probably rehydrates after the same day weigh in to 160 instead of 165, maybe 155 instead of 165. I think he unanimous decision victory over Tank, because I don't think he gives Tank the same opportunities that he gets with a lot of the other guys that he's fighting. I think the Tank.
So if you use the Loma fight, so you think that Devin Haney would use a different strategy against Tank than he used against Loma, because they gave Loma the left. Bill said that.
I would say yes, and I say he has to, because Loma is a busy fighter. He's a busy puncher. He's busy with movement. He's busy with feints, and he throws soft punches, hard punches, and a variety of combinations. Tank is not necessarily that way until he gets you hurt. Tank is a guy that looks for countering opportunities. He doesn't initiate action. Loma does. Loma initiates action. So I think that the game plan would be different. Ooh.
Yeah,
I think they're going at it now. But that's what these lighter weights do, man.
Ooh, shit.
Yeah,
okay,
man.
I just seen it. Collazo just caught him clean.
Ooh, got him.
Collazo caught him clean last I seen. There was a good hook. Oh, that's a wrap. That damn left hook is hurting that guy. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Gutierrez is down.
Are weights to watch for people that haven't been keeping up. Even if you don't know who these guys are, this is 1,000 to 1,200 punches per championship fight at 12 rounds. So, ooh.
Yeah,
so
it's a wrap here. This is the third round?
You got third round too. Mm-hmm. But no, I just say that because I think that Tank would have to become the aggressor in more ways than he's had to be before, as where in a lot of his fights, he's able to sit and wait to counter what the other guy is throwing at him. I think he would have a lot of trouble with Haney's length and with the lack of mistakes, because that's what he capitalizes on. He capitalizes on offensive mistakes from his opponents. I don't know that Devin Haney knows.
I think he creates opportunities to capitalize on mistakes. I think he sets traps and he baits you into those things. The question is going to be, is Devin going to be disciplined enough not to fall for not to take the cheese? So, and I think that you'll see both of them make mistakes in this fight. The difference is, if you make a mistake against Tank, he can sleep you. If you make a mistake against Devin, you might get a knockdown. You might lose a round badly, but you aren't likely to get stopped. So that's going to be the X factor to me, because he hasn't shown that when you make a mistake, he'll stop you. He'll embarrass you, but he hasn't shown that he'll stop you. So if I could give
in the Barrios fight past 6 rounds where you thought that Barrios was winning?
Barrios was winning that fight until like round 10. He had to get a stoppage. Barrios was out boxing him, but that's the point. When he catch you, can you stand the rain?
So what I will say then is if that's the case, right? Because I would have to go back and watch it. I don't remember exactly what I scored it. I know that at one point, for sure, I had Barrios up. Early in the rounds, I had Barrios up I think it was like a 4-0 sweep. I'm pretty sure.
Barrios took off early, yeah.
I would have to watch it again, but I'm pretty comfortable with saying I think he was up at least 4-0. If Barrios can make it 10 and some change, I'm going to believe in the discipline of Devin Haney to say that he can take it all the way home with a similar game plan, because I believe that Devin Haney is a better and a more well-rounded boxer than Mario Barrios.
But you're also saying
puncher. So there's more that's coming back that Tank has to be aware of. So maybe he's not as quick off the trigger because he's thinking, okay, there is something coming back here. But we're also saying that about a guy who his one fight at 140, he looked pretty strong of a puncher to me. I'm not saying he's freaking, Roberto Duran. I'm not saying he's him. I'm not saying he's Manny Pacquiao, but he looked like a much stronger puncher at 140 than what we saw at 135. Is that fair to say?
I think he looked healthier at 140, yes. But I say that to say Regis put himself in a position to get knocked down too. So he had a willing participant who put him in a position to get hit off balance. So when you come
forward, anything to do with Devin putting him in that position by keeping him on the outside and forcing him to have to rush in.
But what I'm saying is this wasn't like flat foot power shots. This was good, well-timed shots.
Yeah,
I think that if you were to compare the two southpaws, Tank versus Regis,
right?
Tank uses balance and footwork way better than Regis. Come on now.
No, I'm not gonna say
Tank is so much more of a better fighter than Regis. It ain't even close.
Not at all. No.
Yeah. So you can't really expect that. Just like you can't expect that Devin is going to fall for the traps that are Barrios or Edwin De Los Santos or whatever. I mean, not De Los Santos, Garcia. No, Garcia. He fell for some traps, and that's how he ended up getting clocked and stopping the fight. He fell for some traps. Once Tank felt his power and knew he could walk through some of that stuff, he started baiting him in with the high guard trap, the trigger, the back foot first, step in, and using high guard stuff. He started doing some real silly things that baited him into throwing punches that left him exposed. I don't expect that from Devin, but I also don't expect Tank to get caught off balance because he doesn't take the risk that Regis was taking to get inside. Tank has a very specific strategy to close distance that will work against any fighter that's within his weight class or close to it. Now, you put him in there with Terrence Crawford, Terrence going to beat the brakes off Tank, or he going to hurt him. Trying to close distance, but you put him in there with like Shakur and guys like that, he gonna find a way to close that distance. It's just a matter of will it be often enough for him to land that good punch that he needs to swing the momentum of the fight. That's the question mark why I want to see him fight Devin. I need to see it, and I think that the strategy is there. The path to victory is there for both. I just think that if all things are even at some point, one dude has an equalizer and the other one doesn't.
I think the KO equalizer is viable. I think that the size equalizer keeps the fight from becoming a knockout if it's fought at a weight that's comfortable and agreeable in Devin and his team's opinion.
If Tank, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. If Tank go up to 140 and he fills out at 140 for that, he's sleeping Devin, bro.
Well, what I want to know is what's that mean? Does that mean he has to fight 2 or 3 times at 140 before he fights Devin?
No, he just needs to actually go up to 140, not like some type of catch weight. He needs to actually go up to 140, but that means he might have to be out the ring for an extended period of time. So maybe he has an unforced 8-month layoff to actually acclimate his body to that weight. He said he was uncomfortable at 40 for whatever reason. I get it. Tank's like 5'4", 5'5". So I could see as an athlete right at 30 you may not want to go above what you feel most comfortable. However, he's pursuing money. Devin's pursuing legacy. They got to find a middle ground. But I think the better fight overall, he needs to find a way to fight Shakur. And Shakur's about to be a free agent.
I mean, Shakur is the guy to fight. The issue is that I don't know that Shakur signing with PBC guarantees him that fight for the same reasons.
That's the only way you sign.
Well, here's the thing. Like, there's plenty of examples, and they're on a smaller scale because they're not as popular of a fighters, but there's plenty of examples of guys that sign with PBC thinking that they're going to get lined up for a certain guy, and that doesn't end up happening. Chris Eubank was an example. He was supposed to get Jermall Charlo. That didn't happen. Carlos Adames, he leaves Top Rank to come to PBC. He's supposed to get a fight with Jermall Charlo. That doesn't happen. Tim Tszyu signs a deal with PBC. He's supposed to get Jermell. That fight doesn't happen. You see what I mean? Like, there's not a guarantee that just because you go over there that they're going to give you their top dog. The situation has to be right. The finances have to be right. And the demand has to be perfect in order for that to happen. Because if it doesn't, then it's not going to happen. Like, it's not going to just be, oh, it's a guarantee. We're going to put you in there no matter what.
But that's the thing. You don't sign unless part of your signing is my first or my second fight is Gervonta Davis, is Abdul Wahid, whatever we calling him. That's my second fight.
Put that in his contract.
That's the only. But you have leverage. You know it's a big ticket fight. You don't go over there and sign. Go take your ass over there to Golden Boy or Matchroom or somewhere else and go do a 2-fight deal with somebody else until Tank and them talking what you need to hear. But you get that guarantee.
If I'm Shakur and I'm unhappy with Top Rank, if he's unhappy, I don't know that he is or not. I don't know what his personal feelings about the situation are. Because if he's not, stay. You do the fight with Loma, become a unified champion at 135, because he's gonna beat the brakes off of Kambosos. That's a given. WBO strap is probably gonna be fought between William Zepeda, who's with Golden Boy, and Dennis Baranchik, who has a relationship with Golden Boy, or Angel Ferrero, who's with Matchroom. One of those two guys is gonna fight. That's a fight that's gonna be made because Matchroom's gonna be willing to give Angel Ferrero to Top Rank because he's not one of their major money guys. To unify that, you got 3 belts there. Then you move up, and if you can't get that in your contract to fight Tank, well, you go where you can go on DAZN as a free agent, and you see about getting Ryan. You see about getting Devin. You see about getting some of these other guys at 140 that they might have available at that point, because you can't just hold your entire career to one fight. You got to have more than one fight in your career to begin with.
I agree, but I think as an African-American fighter, if he's not going to fight Tank, put yourself in the best position to get that fight. Go over there to PBC and raise your profile, because what I can say historically has been, if you're an African-American fighter, your profile typically has been able to benefit from being with PBC versus some of the others. What other African-American fighter has really elevated to that megastar status away from PBC? So because of that, I think you go over there and you already put yourself in-house to where you say, look, I'm going to go over here and fight these 2 nameless dudes, and I'm going to raise my profile. And then I need y'all to put me in there with Tank, or I'm out. And I'm only going to do 2-fight deals with you going forward. And I want to be on pay-per-view at least one of the 2.
If they're willing to put that in writing, then I agree with you. I think that that's something that you do. I don't know necessarily if most PBC contracts include specific opponents. I know that typically it's fights and maybe a guarantee minimum, or that you'll be on X number of pay-per-view slots.
Yeah.
Or if you lose this fight, we have rights to you to give you a co-main event on another card afterwards, something like that. I don't know that they specifically include, an opponent, but ultimately what that would mean, it could, but what that would mean is that you also have to get Tank to sign something similar, saying that, yeah, I'm going to fight him after X number of fights. And I don't know what his arrangement is with the PBC right now, if he signed a deal with Al or if he's just over there as a free agent that he just has a relationship with Al, so he's willing to work with them. Talking about Tank. But if he is over there as a signed, contracted fighter, that's the only way you go over there. But if you don't, and if you can't get that in your contract, I think you go as a hired gun to the zone, and you see about fighting the other guys that are in and around your weight that are also popular.
You go to Devin, right?
Devin. You see about fighting Ryan. You see about fighting, a Williams Zepeda. You see about fighting some of the guys at 140 that they got over there. You see about which, I'm trying to remember. Are they friends? I think they are friends, but he probably wouldn't fight him. But like a Richardson Hitchens, a Jack Catterall.
Nah, they ain't cool.
Those two do, you know what I mean? And they actually used to be. I know that actually. I'm thinking about it now. I can remember this.
They just had a back and forth a couple of days ago.
Yeah, they used to be at one point. So maybe they would fight now, but I don't know. But you see if you can get in there with those guys at this point, because it's very clear that Tank is going to do what he's going to do, and a lot of it is not revolving around, like you said, it's not revolving around the biggest challenges. It's focused on what's the most money I can make with the least amount of risk involved, and if there's somebody that I can make more money with or equal money with that's less risk, I'm going to take that, as opposed to a fight that may necessarily give me more credit or more credibility on my record. And we all know that Shakur is that would be a difficult style for Tank. It just would be. It would be difficult. He might win, but it would be a difficult style to deal with. He's never faced a pure boxer that makes minimal offensive mistakes.
No, for sure. And he controls distance great. But that's what I'm saying. Yeah. To me, Tank versus Shakur is a better fight than Tank versus Devin. I only see one path to victory for Devin versus Tank. You got to move the whole fight. And I just don't know that that's going to be a part of Devin's game plan.
I think that's the way that Shakur wins that fight, if I'm being honest, because I don't think that Shakur is the puncher that Devin is, even at the weight that he's at now. I don't think. I think that Shakur can transition, making you miss and making you pay better than Devin. I think he does that. He's one of the best in the business. Shakur has every tool that you need as a boxer. And I think that because of his physical advantages, like his longer arms, he's also a southpaw, something that Tank doesn't see often, things like that. I think all of those elements make him a tougher out for Tank. And I think it's also a bigger money fight for Tank. Despite Devin's achievements, I personally see Shakur in a brighter light to the casuals because of his Houston connection and the fact that he has that QC connection and all that stuff. I just think that more people know who Shakur is than Devin. Also because his baby mama was on Jermaine Dupri's show like a long time ago. So I just kind of factor all those things together why from a marketing standpoint it's a bigger fight, and then from a matchup standpoint I just see that he gives Tank the most trouble, and that's why in a way I think Tank will never fight him, even though I think it's the biggest fight that he could make going forward outside of like Tszyu. I think Tszyu knows how to sell a fight, so that'll be a damn good fight too. Yeah, agreed.
We're about to get the main event finally.
The main event is about to come on. I'm gonna go actually step out real quick, grab something to eat, and come back, and we'll get ready to start with this this main event. It's gonna start in probably about 5 or 10 minutes. So
for sure, I'm right here holding it down. All right, so I see the viewership flipping back and forth. So I know we got some people that's just tapping in. They see the live video on Facebook. Welcome. I'm T-Word, People's Champ. This is the Mic Check Podcast. We are currently doing a live stream of some boxing. As you can see, there's no footage, but me and my co-host, we were just talking about the different aspects of boxing and stuff like that. So if you watch fights, tap in the comments. Let me know. I'm going to put a link down here if you're interested in joining the conversation. There you have it. You can come up on the panel. You don't have to turn your camera on. Just come check us out. Come chop it up with us. We've got one more fight to go on the card. It looks like they're warming up before they come to the ring. So I'll be talking about what's happening in the ring, give y'all some play-by-play of what's happening between these two fighters. We got John Ryder. He's a 168-pounder. And we have Jaime Munguia. He's also 168 pounds. And they're fighting, basically getting position for some belts. So See how that goes. Anybody that's tuning in, tapping in, are you a boxing fan? Do you watch boxing? Do you watch any sports? Or you just follow T's Corner because you know me, which I appreciate it. But this is the brand and this is what we do right now. If you want to, drop in the comments. Are you sipping tonight? I am. So this particular fight, John Ryder, he just last year. He fought Canelo Alvarez and he made it to the final bell, but he did lose a decision. But he put up a real good fight. And when you're fighting Canelo, you go to the ring down 4-0 on the cards, period. But I thought that he made a good showing for himself to keep himself in the championship hunt, even though he didn't walk away with victory that night. Jaime Munguia in his last fight, he fought Devin. I can't remember his first name. But anyway, it was a tough fight. And he almost got knocked out a couple of times in the middle rounds. But he eventually pulled out the decision, which I thought it might have been a draw for this fight. For that fight, he got a knockdown late, and that's what really swung it his way. But outside of that, he's an average fighter to me. I'm not sold on him. He's one of those guys that have been in the Golden Boy Protection Program, and they just not fighting the tough fights. So that's how I feel about that. We're probably going to stream again. I can't commit to like every weekend because I just got other shit I want to do. But maybe every other weekend. Would do some fights. I know for sure I'm not somebody who likes to be on the stream during like big time pay-per-views, simply because I kind of want to be in the moment in the fight and I don't want to have to try to host. So we probably won't do any of those, but some of these other cards, kind of these week by week cards, we'll definitely tap in on some of this stuff where we could give y'all good quality content and conversation. If you've been able to keep up, we've been on here 2.5 hours. If you've been keeping up, you'll see that we've been talking about a little bit of everything. And we'll probably chop this up and make some smaller videos for y'all to go back and watch piece by piece. But for the most part, we've been kind of talking about fighters that are either on the card or potential matchups for these fighters down the line. So there's that part. So for now, I'm going to throw up a little bit of custom music. Matter of fact, if you don't already follow the channel, feel free to do so. I'm going to throw up our sizzle reel just real quick. All right. So that was our little sizzle reel. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. If you don't already subscribe to our YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. It is the Mic Check on YouTube. Feel free to check us out. If you're on Facebook, don't forget to like, share the page, let people know that there's a great sports channel out there. We're currently doing a boxing live commentary. Some other sporting events, we might go live during some other stuff. But we definitely, boxing kind of tailor made for live streams because it's Saturday night. So for those who are sitting at the crib looking for some good conversations, some sports talk, that's what we do in Q. So feel free to check us out. We also drop videos weekly, so you can check that out. We've got almost 500 videos on the channel, so there's something to go and listen to and talk about. Be sure to check out. We've got a NFC and AFC championship video going to be dropping early tomorrow because those games will be played, and then we'll follow that up with a post-game reaction and then our Super Bowl prediction, where we'll talk about different elements of those games. So we don't just do boxing, even though it is a heavy part of what we cover. Also, if you're a sports fan and you feel like you have what it takes to be a part of the content creation team, hit me up, qualitytalk23@gmail.com or the mic check. And we're looking to potentially add some folks to the show. We're looking for some other content creators to come in and tap in with us. Q is back. If you talk basketball, it's not exactly my forte. I can hold my own. However, you may have more nuance to your conversation than me. You can join us and come be a part of the team. If you like football, that's my specialty. Boxing, that's our specialty. We're always looking for new talent to join us and be a part of the crew. It helps us put out this dope ass content. But in the meantime, we are getting ready for the main event of this boxing card. It is the last fight of the night. And they're actually timing it pretty good because, a lot of times you don't see main events at like 11:30. It's 10:30 and they're about to head to the ring.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we were talking about that. My wife and I, my wife loves boxing as well. We watch a lot of fights together. The worst example of this, that what you're talking about, was the Jamel Herring Shakur Stevenson fight that was held in Atlanta on Top Rank. My wife and I were in Houston that weekend. Bro, we both fell asleep in the hotel room in the bed. I wake up. It's the middle of round one. It's like 12:45, bro. Central Standard Time. So that means in Atlanta, them people in the arena, the fight ain't even started after 1.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, they have to do something about that to be better. This is it's not perfect. I shouldn't say that. Honestly, in my opinion, I think a main event should start no later than 9:30 for wherever the event is taking place. So if it's a West Coast fight, it's a little bit later for us. It's 10:30, like it is tonight. Obviously, it's in Phoenix, so this isn't that bad. This is 9:30-ish. But if it's an East Coast fight, there's no reason that it should start at midnight.
Even when they fight in AC, Philly, all that don't make sense. AC, whatever.
Watch at midnight so that people on the West Coast can see it at 9:30. That just doesn't make any sense. The people that are going to watch are going to be tuned in based on the time that it comes on, not because of the time that it's on. You feel what I'm saying?
For sure. Yeah, I remember. Which one started at the perfect time? They did really good with Spence Crawford. That fight ended early. I think it was done at 10:30.
I can't even remember the time, to be honest with you.
It started at 7. The main card started at 7. Huh?
I couldn't remember. Man. I was so lit that night, man. I don't even remember what time it was. I watched that fight back 2 more times after that, so I wasn't like,
after like 3 rounds, I kind of put my drink down. I was disgusted. I didn't throw it back up. I was like, the fuck is this? Fight back.
Those of y'all that are not aware, he started thinking about all those damn push-ups he was gonna have to do the day afterwards. That's what he was thinking.
Yeah, I did them.
Had to do those push-ups the day afterwards.
I did them too. I did all them damn push-ups. But yeah, man, it was hard to stomach, bro. I had to put my drinks down. It was not a good night at the Word household.
I can imagine. Trust me, I have plenty of them.
They was all sitting there looking at me like, "This your man's?
This what you been telling me
Is
about?
this your king?
You been talking about this dude? For real? Damn, that's crazy."
Wow.
You're like, for real? That's what you've been telling me about for the last month? You want me to travel up here to come watch this fight? That's what you talking about? Damn, we should have watched the other dude.
For real. Like, dang, it was crazy. But now, I remember that pay-per-view portion starting at 7.
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought that it was great timing Because I like to watch the post-fight interviews, and I hate having to stay up till 1 o'clock because it's a 30-minute gap from the final bell to they even started. And sometimes they do the undercard guys first. So you sitting there like 1 o'clock in the morning, like, bro, I just want to hear their thoughts. You know, I like to get that part of the, you know, I want the whole experience.
At that point, man, if they're taking that long, I know that it's a pay-per-view, so it's a different situation than like, for example, like tonight where it's not, you know, it's not extra pay for. Man, I just thank God for Fight Hype, Fight Hub, you know, boxing scene, whoever else, you know, a UK broadcaster if they're there, you know, do the YouTube or whatever. And I'll just watch that later, man, because I mean, I know the value of hearing what they think about the fight afterwards, but ultimately, I'm gonna hear about it anyway. Somebody's gonna write a story about it, or it's gonna get clipped on YouTube.
Sure.
So it is what it is at that point.
Yeah, sometimes it's just, you know, you're in the mode, you're in fight mode, you know, you're enjoying it, and you just want to see that post fight. But like you said, sometimes it's like, bruh, it's YouTube. I'm gonna be able to go back and watch it in the morning, and I'm gonna be up at 7 o'clock anyway. So let me go ahead and just call it a night and catch it in the morning. But I don't like having to stay up till 1 o'clock for that to happen. Dude, they still back here warming up. Like, walk to the ring or something.
I think sometimes those cameras are not showing like a live.
They're not live,
like pre-recorded, because they definitely start. There's no way they're gonna wait another 15 minutes. It's already been 15 minutes.
Man, I didn't realize Munguia was 6 foot. He don't look big in the ring. He don't fight like a 6-footer.
Well, he got that traditional Mexican style of, you know, inside fighting and body punching and taking one to give one. So he's certainly not an outside fighter, that's for sure. He's not an outside fighter at all.
Ryder looked like a villain in a B movie. Made for TV. Rocky 17.
I will say this. I would not be surprised if he won this fight.
Me either. Somebody had Jaime Munguia plus 230 earlier, but the odds have switched back. I don't know what they saw. But I think this is even. This should be 115.
Man, all you need to do is look at Munguia's last fight to realize that inside pressure that can fight on the inside and punch just like he can give him problems. Yeah. And that's a guy that moved up from 150.
Eddie Hearn believes in Ryder, so. Man, what y'all eating over there?
Man, this is some gumbo my wife made tonight.
Oh, that's what's up.
I'm eating good tonight.
That's what's up.
I'm looking forward to this all week. She put that Kroger mobile pickup order in on Friday. I said, I'll go get it for you. No problem. I'll pick it up for you.
Done deal. Say less.
I was like, tell me what spot to park in. I'll pick it up myself.
Already. I'm in E9. Let's get it.
Right. But
okay. So they in the ring on yours. I'm waiting on ring walks.
Yeah, like they about to start the ring just yet. They walk into the start spot to walk in.
I got lights out right now. They showing the sizzle reel. Also, so Ryder's an ape too. He's a silverback too.
That's his nickname, the gorilla. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's like his nickname or whatever.
Hey, Facebook folks, don't forget to hit that like button. Let me show us some love. Let me see it. Hit that like button. Jump over to YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Support the channel, man.
Please do.
We're trying to grow it again.
Ramifications on this fight just before it starts. My thoughts. Obviously, whoever wins this fight, if it is Munguia, that puts him in prime position to get a Canelo Alvarez fight for May. It would be a short turnaround, so to speak, because he's fighting at the end of January. That fight would be a little less than 4 months from now. So it is a quick turnaround if you have an 8-week camp, but it's something Munguia is going to be happy to do if he's able to do so. Obviously, Oscar wants to make some of that Canelo money again, so he would be happy to do that, even if it means sacrificing his own fighter. For John Ryder, what this really means is I think it leads to another crossover fight to fight on somebody else's street that doesn't get the Canelo fight immediately. Maybe it's David Benavidez later this year. Maybe it's a Christian Mabili fight later this year. Maybe it's a David Morrell fight later this year. Another big payday. Obviously, he's already fought Canelo, so he's probably not going to get a rematch immediately when he lost to him this same time last year.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of faith on the line for both guys because I think whoever wins this fight gets themselves a very, very, very nice payday in their next fight.
For sure. I think it's a more lucrative payday for Ryder if he wins than I think for Munguia.
How so?
Just because from where you're at to where you're going, I think it's a bigger pay jump for Ryder than Munguia. So I think it's a bigger come up if he can win this fight. It positions him in a more prime position. Even if, like you said, it's not a Canelo rematch immediately, you keep yourself in the conversation to visit him again. Whereas Munguia with the win, you're not guaranteed anything. Because I think there's a lot of other boxers that look at him like smoke and mirrors, like I see him.
Mm-hmm. Well,
and I ain't hating on him. I'm just saying.
Maybe that means they're encouraged to fight him then, because obviously, you know, he has, you know, weaknesses that can be exploited. To be honest, I think a Jamal fight is perfect.
For Munguia?
Not for Munguia. I mean, if I'm Jamal's team and I'm not fighting Canelo next, I think that that's the perfect fight to put me in a position to look good, to continue to get back to that level. And it's an entertaining fight. I mean, everybody knows the African-American against the Mexican-American fight.
Yeah, it's box office.
Does well. And you can do that fight in San Antonio and bring his fans and the Mexican fans. You can do that fight in Houston. You can do that fight in Dallas. And it's going to sell very, very well.
You do it in Dallas, it sells better. That's the best place. But I don't know, Jerry want to touch it. But yeah. Now, I like Munguia versus Charlo. I like Charlo beating him up, but I still like it.
Ultimately, it's just the fight you want to see, right? The result is not necessarily relevant to the interest level. The interest level is what's most important.
Yeah, I want to see the participation.
Exactly, and I think that if he wins this fight, then if he can't get Canelo next, which I mean, it's him or Jamal. I mean, I don't see anybody else being the May opponent. Whoever doesn't get that fight, you know, they're going to be kind of left out in the cold. But if neither one of them was to get it, I think them fighting each other would be perfect.
Yeah. Last bout June 10th. That ain't been that long.
Who's this you talking about?
Munguia. He ain't fought since June 10th.
Yeah.
Man, honestly, after Spence Crawford, like the boxing schedule kind of flew by. Like there was so much buildup leading up to that. It just felt like the air was let out of a balloon. Because there was so much anticipation for that. There were still good fights going on, but nothing had the magnitude or the importance or significance historically or just in general. So a lot of just boxing just kind of went by. And now we're in 2024.
That's certainly the truth when you talk about the American scene, because the only real other big American fight that happened was Canelo against Jermell. And that was really not a fight that anybody was
It
really
wasn't a big fight, yeah, because nobody was checking for that. Nobody really beat the table for that
forward
fight.
to it before it got announced. Right.
Yeah. So. Oh snap! Look like I missed some comments. What we got here? Oh shit! Showboat. Showboat, what it do? Hey, welcome to the channel, man, and feel free to come up if you want to talk about these fights that's going on, and just let us know what you've been having going on. I ain't seen your videos in a minute. So he's a friend of the show, Showboat and Sports. He's an actor too, so that dude be busy, man. He ain't got time to be on YouTube all the time, but he definitely puts out some good content, some great conversation and opinions. So he's a friend of the channel as well.
$32-6. truth be told, should have been a super middleweight champion, and he would have fought Canelo a year earlier than he actually did. Because in my opinion, he beat Callum Smith the night that they fought, and that's what led Callum Smith to get the Canelo fight the year after that. So definitely an experienced guy. I would argue he's fought at a higher level than Munguia at this point.
Oh yeah. So I'm calling it now. I'm picking a Ryder upset. I can't do DraftKings right now because it takes too much to get a bet off, being that we live in Texas. But I would definitely put $20 and make me $100 off Ryder.
Yeah.
I just like what I saw from him against Canelo.
Yeah, I think the key thing was that he had that success late after a slow start, which tells me the engine and the conditioning is there. And the refusal to give up is there as well.
Yeah, boxer spirit.
A lot of people can have success early in a fight and then teeter off. To not have the success early, but then have success late in the fight is a lot harder to do. So, All right, here we go.
Hey, while they go through all this and we looking at a referee do his thing, you think Tony Weeks need to retire?
I think he needs to be on some kind of a probation.
But so is probation warranted? Like, he didn't do anything wrong.
I think anytime you make a bad mistake necessarily, you thought that he was right in stopping that fight against Virgil's opponent early?
I didn't like the stoppage, but I understood. If what he said was true, I understood why.
Yeah, I think if that's the case,
Fighter
you
safety
up for the situation then, because you always end up looking bad. And
yeah, so like you remember
you're gonna get hired for another fight. Like, you're not gonna not have another fight.
Remember, he was the ref in Urbaselli versus Morrell, and he been quick on the trigger ever since.
Well, that's the thing, man.
He let Morrell beat the brakes off that dude.
Yeah, and I feel that. I guess that's just the issue with being a referee. It's kind of like being an athlete, right? If you go out there and you break your ankle, the next season you can't go out there playing like you scared to break your ankle again. You got to go out there as if nothing ever happened. Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's easier said than done.
I feel you though, definitely. But if he knew that dude was kind of issue in his physical, then he should have said, no, he don't need to fight, or I need to not be the one to referee the fight.
Yeah, I think there was other course of action. Yeah, that's like I got a pin in my left elbow. I shattered my elbow when I was 14. I didn't stop compensating for like 10 years. And it's a pin in it. Like, my left elbow's stronger than my right because of that pin. I still never, it was a mental block that never allowed me, like, I wouldn't stiff arm with it. It changed my jump shot. Like, it was a lot of stuff went different. That's part of why I switched to southpaw, so I could load up on it instead of throwing it all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's mental things. So if you watch a man basically get abused and put in a coma, you're probably gonna have some apprehensions when you're in the ring about like putting people at risk. Like Showbo just said, I respect him for looking out for fighters' health. A lot of people calling for him to retire. I think, it's not like he has to be physically in a certain shape. I just think he just need to take a break. Take a year off. Not being suspended, like voluntarily go sit your ass down for a year.
Good job.
All right, y'all. We're gonna try to call this fight. Oh, that said Munguia plus 230 for KO, so they thinking decision. All right, so Munguia being aggressive on the front foot, open stance fight. A lot of posturing going on. Looking for the right shot. Yeah. Not a lot of punches thrown necessarily.
I'm up for that check hook when he's coming on the way in. Ryder's trying to set him up for the check hook on the way in.
Oh, for sure.
And he's looking to try to throw that slip counter left hand because he's wanting Munguia to initiate at this point.
Yeah. And even though Ryder's kind of he's giving way, like he's the first to step back, he's not pinning himself. Well, he's kind of doing it right now, but he's really not pinning himself. He'll pivot off and try to cross over, even though he is moving to the strong side of Munguia. It is an open stance fight, so you see that more often. Because if he circles to his own weak side, you're kind of circling into like a hook or a jab. So
I think he's gonna have to. I think he's gonna have to do a little bit of both. I think he's gonna have to move left and move right and mix it up. Munguia doesn't have the best footwork. He's not the greatest at cutting the ring off. So he also is not a guy that can throw lots of punches while moving. He's more of a guy that likes to plant his feet to throw punches. So keeping Munguia on the move is going to be the best case scenario for Ryder.
For sure. I call that a 10-10 round. I can't give it either way. I thought they both did the basics. It was a good fill them out round, so I call it 10-10. I know the judges don't typically score like that, but I score 10-10 rounds when I see them. What you got it?
I'm probably going to give it to Munguia only because of the busyness and the activity and the likelihood that that's who they're giving the round to.
I got my own scorecard because I know them judges that put some bullshit out there. And don't let Mannix score it. He probably got it 10-8 Munguia right now.
10-8 with no knockdown, huh?
10-8, yeah. He was very impressive with his footwork and not getting hit. I don't know what the hell Mannix be on. Farhood be on some weird shit too.
Huh.
Farhood cards be crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Jockey for inside. Show of dominance.
Good right hook by Ryder on the inside right there. Munguia does not move his head. I will say that. I know we said that earlier, but
that mug on
he
the
doesn't
stick.
move his head off the line when he punches. His head stays in the same place.
Yeah, that mug is on the stick for real. He keep eating that check hook. That eye gonna be closed. Oh,
not good. Not a good start.
He caught him right there on the liver too.
That's not good. It's not a good start.
Yeah, he got some bruising in the face. Okay, so far this is gonna be a Munguia round.
Boy,
Ryder, did you not get up for this fight? Oh, and he catches some shots.
Not the start he wanted.
Definitely not. And he's walking into punches. Like, what are you doing? Regroup.
He's not a boxer. He's a pressure fighter. That's all he knows.
Yeah, but it's time to move. Get out the way. Regroup.
You can't go from a dog to a cat, man. You know that. Okay.
There's got to be some survival to it.
This is his survival. Fire with fire. That's how he survived. He's gonna make it. I understand what he's becoming at too. You see that Munguia is trying to get him out of there, but he's got his wherewithal, and he don't look shaking like he was earlier in the round. He gonna lose the round, but he don't look like he did earlier in the round.
Yep, Manning's about to make this a 10-7. One knockdown.
I don't know. T is not a Chris Mannix fan.
Hell nah, that boy crazy. He be coming up with some stuff. Hey, who's sitting next to Bernard? Oh, I thought that was Baumgartner. I don't know who that is, but somebody is still in the fight.
Oh, good strong finish to that round by Munguia. It's a good strong finish to that round.
Now, so there's something I want you to take note of that just happened. So you saw when they got in that shoving match?
Yeah, he got tossed around.
I thought that Ryder stood his ground enough to where. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I got it. I had a 10-10. So I got it 20-19. Actually, no, because I was 10-8. 20-18.
20-18, yeah.
Yeah.
Straight right hand too.
Yeah. Oh no, I got it 2019 because I gave them both 10 in the first round. And you got it 2018?
Well, no, it would be 2017 because it was 10-9 and then 10-8.
Okay, 10-7. Okay. Oh yeah, then I got it 2018 and you got it 2017. Oh yeah, because you gave the first round to Munguia.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, Ryder, this is where you get your get back. You got to get it back this round. You don't get your get back this round, it's going to go downhill from here. You got to get it back right now. Because the longer you let him feel this success, the more confident he's going to be going forward.
Yeah. Hey, chat, scorecards. What y'all got? Are y'all watching the fight? Give us y'all scorecards. Drop it in the comments.
Ooh, good right to the body right there, too. That's a good right hand to the body. Good counter left hand by Ryder. He's standing his ground, man. He's not concerned with what's coming at him. He's been hurt, obviously, knocked down, but he's not concerned with the punches coming at him. Maybe it's because he knows the only way he's going to win this fight. Ooh, good left hand.
I mean, I think the knockdown was more of like a just well-timed thing. I don't think it was just a hard punch. Oh, good aggressive shift forward.
That's what I'm saying. He shifted over his weight to put that left hand behind the jab.
Yeah, that was a good shift, good forward shift with a punch, with a combination. In fact, oh yeah,
he needs to continue to try to take the middle of the ring because he can't show any signs that he's willing to back up. The more he shows that, the confidence is going to give Munguia.
Well, part of what's happening here is that if he can, because he's shorter too, he has to step inside Munguia, and he's sometimes giving up. Like typically, you want to go outside foot position, but for Ryder, the shortest distance to your target is a straight line. Step inside and step in with the jab, and then come with the two.
Yeah.
So he wants to use inside foot position.
I don't know that Munguia's best punches are his hooks. I think his best punches are his straight punches from the outside. Even though he's an inside fighter, I think his best punches is the jab 1-2 from the outside. And I think he's safer, honestly, on the inside because he can work the body from there.
Yeah. And it seems like he has the tools to get inside. Like right now, he's throwing that right hook from short range.
He's physically stronger in there, too. I've noticed this between the last 3 rounds.
Oh, yeah.
He's up 2 guys. He's the physically stronger guy in there. I mean, he's not the bigger guy, but from a strength standpoint, he's certainly stronger, for sure. So I would say that's probably a round I'd give to Ryder, that round right there. That's probably his first victory in a round, I would probably give.
Yeah.
So that would make it what?
So you've got 29-27. 29-27 on your cards. And I've got 29-28 because I gave it 10-10 the first round.
That uppercut right there, and then the right hand behind it, or the left hand behind it, excuse me. That's a good combo right there. Uppercut and then the left hand behind it.
When he did the forward shift?
Yeah, when he put the uppercut. I haven't seen that very often where people put the uppercut and then the straight backhand behind it. Normally it's either a hook or a jab before the straight backhand. I haven't seen the uppercut to a straight backhand. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's an awkward combination. You don't see that from a lot of people.
Well, but it was telegraphed because he knew exactly where he was going to go. Because if you notice, he also shifted to his right instead of letting his left carry him into Munguia into like a clinch. He ended up on his right. He ended up shifting to his right on Munguia's left side.
Right.
And I've seen him use those pivots, like subtle pivots, like soft controls, like that pivot. And I think it's going to pay dividends for him later if he can survive. You know, that knockdown kind of maybe accelerated what he wanted to do game plan wise. But I think if he'll stick to whatever his script was, those things are going to pay off later. Because when McGee is tired, it's going to be easier to land punches.
Right.
Man, I thought starting at 8 was going to be kind of late. We've been on here 3 hours.
Yeah, they had a little bit of quite a few breaks.
They gave us a lot of fluff.
Some of these fights ended a little earlier too.
Yeah, they gave us a lot of fluff content.
It was also the fact that this fight is on the West Coast too, because it's only 9 o'clock out there right now. So.
Yeah, I was telling them when you took that break that you know, we probably won't stream the bigger cards, but some of these mid tiers, you know, just below the very top, just below pay-per-view cards, we'll probably stream. That's some good get back for Ryder. We'll stream that kind of stuff.
You're having a good response to that, man, because I'm telling you, he's backing him up. He's backing him up.
He caught Munguia playing around just now.
He did. I saw that. Split his guard with the left hand.
Oh yeah, he got Munguia backing up now. This is bad news for him because this is what Dervinchenko was doing.
That's what I was saying, man. It's the same fight. It's the same type of fighter. It's like a duo. It's like a rematch. Literally, it's just 11.
Except Ryder has the blueprint already.
Exactly. And a younger guy too. He's not as old as Dervinchenko. Good jab by Munguia.
Yeah, and Ryder's jab just don't have the reach on it. Like it's just a feeler. It's not like a real punch. It's a throwaway punch.
He can't use it because where he's positioned when he tries to throw it is too far away. He has to almost just use it as a probe. Oh, damn! He got him again.
Caught him off balance. Yeah.
Caught him on the way in. Same thing like last time.
Yep. Flash knockdown. Caught him off balance.
Caught him on the way in.
Yeah. Oh, bro, that's not how you win.
That was a ride around until the very end.
Yeah.
That's a ride around until the very end. Now you got to call that 10-8, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because that was gonna be another ride around for me. That's tough.
39-35 Q.
He's winning that entire round until the very last 10 seconds of the round. It's not good.
39-36 on my card.
It was a jab too. It wasn't even a backhand on that one. It was just a jab. Caught him off balance.
Yeah.
Yep. It was there. I mean, he barely even extended it either. He
caught him coming in with his chin exposed. It don't even need to be a good solid shot. He had his feet up under his shoulders. It's a wrap. Yeah, I think he like 15 seconds ahead of me because it took a while before I saw the knockdown.
Yeah. My clock says 2:30.
2:38. Okay, so you're like 8 seconds ahead, but still, that's a lot of action.
Are you watching this on a smart TV or on the app directly?
On the app on the smart TV.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a wrap for him. I'm starting to see Munguia's punches like Ryder's fighting undisciplined.
Yeah.
So he's getting caught in really awkward positions and it's accumulating because the judges are seeing you're about to get desperate, which means you're going to make more mistakes and he's going to get you out of here. That's going to be crazy because the hype train behind this dude stopping Ryder when Canelo didn't. It's just a stupid narrative, but that's what's going to be told. He did what Canelo didn't.
Yeah. People don't put enough stock in the fact that the guy you fight first gives you the example of what you should do, and also he's hurting the guy before you get to touch him.
He's doing damage. He's doing damage before you get your shot. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm trying to remember, but I'm sure John Ryder hasn't fought since the Canelo fight, so he's been, not extremely active. Munguia has fight more recently than him.
Yeah, not by much though. Like 2 months.
Yeah.
Because Ryder fought Canelo in May.
May of
Munguia fought in June 23. And then June, Munguia fought.
Mm-hmm.
All right, looks like we saw a slight uptick in viewers. So if you're out there and you're watching, feel free to drop a comment. Go ahead and let us know what you think of the channel. Go ahead and tell us.
That's how I have it, by the way. Well, actually, no, he doesn't, because I gave Ryder one round already. So
yeah, told you, Manic's tweaking. He know that round 2 was Ryder. Hey, if you've never been on the channel, hit the like button. Head over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, support us with your likes, clicks, and all that good stuff. We definitely appreciate it. We're talking a little boxing tonight, y'all.
Good response, Ryder.
We got a couple more likes. I appreciate it. Thank you all. Thank you all. We appreciate that. This round looked pretty even to me.
It did. Yeah, Ryder got the last bit of it, and Munguia started off strong at the beginning. So.
I got it 10-10. You gave that one to, how'd you score it?
I'd probably say I'd give that to Ryder, that last round.
Ryder. All right, so that's going to put you at 48, 45. And I got it. I had it even. So I got 49, 46. I give 10-10 rounds, y'all, if anybody out there scoring besides me. I think there's a lot more even rounds in boxing than we see on scorecards.
Yeah. Unfortunately, nobody likes a draw, so that's why people try not to do the 10-10, I think. Just because you're trying to pick a winner.
You are, but an even round is an even round. You assume that the fighters are going to find a way to separate themselves, or a draw is a draw. Like some fights are actual draw.
Yeah. I always said that the boxing should be a odd number of rounds, so you don't even get the draw. 13 rounds or 11 rounds. Pick a number.
Yeah.
Go back to 15 rounds if you want to, like old school. You saw a lot less draws. It's a lot harder to get a draw in a 15-round fight or a 13-round fight.
Or just change the scoring. You can get a 10 or 11. You ain't got to change number of rounds. Just change the scoring.
Right.
Drop it down to 9.
Right.
9-point scoring system. 9-point must system. Ryder switched his schedule, switched his game plan up.
Fighting on the back foot.
Yeah, it feels like he doesn't think he can win now. So he's trying to figure something out. Like, I'm just gonna fight.
I think it's initially it was okay, we're gonna try to fight fire with fire. That didn't work because it got him hurt a couple of times from the speed differential between the two guys. Obviously, Munguia is a faster puncher. I think now he's trying to do what Munguia was doing, was trying to get him to walk onto something and see if he can hurt him that way and then unload from there. I think he's trying to see if he can get a counter opportunity.
And Munguia's mostly playing it safe. Like, he's very strategic here with his punch selection. He'll hit him with 1 or 2, then he'll kind of pull back, then come back in with a couple more. He's not just standing there throwing the punches. So while his head isn't moving, his body is getting out of harm's way. So it's a good strategy because Ryder is experiencing some frustration. So this is a good way to keep him frustrated, making him work for his landed shots.
Barry Jones mentioned something very key in that round, which is that Ryder can try to countering opportunities, but he's also got to show that he can come back on the front foot. Like good uppercut. At the end of this round, this is a strong end to the round for Ryder for sure.
Yeah, I'm leaning Ryder in this round, even though I like what Munguia was doing. I just don't think it was a lot of it. And I thought Ryder was setting the tempo and controlling the tempo. Munguia was just finding his opportunities within that tempo.
A couple of close rounds there. I can see both of those rounds going either way, to be honest. The last two.
That's why I went 10-10, but I'm scoring this one for Ryder. I thought it was a good round on his way. So I got and you how'd you score this one?
I would say the same. I'd say that I probably would have gave that to Ryder for the strong.
You gave it Ryder. All right, so we're gonna go 57, 50, 55. All right, so on your card is actually fairly close.
Yeah, I think the only clear rounds I could give Munguia were the two rounds that he
got the knockdowns.
He got the two knockdowns in. Other than that, there's all swing rounds, in my opinion. I think you could make an argument for either guy to me. Munguia's landing the more eye-catching shots, but they're few and far between. I think he's landing 2 or 3 punches around that's like, oh, wow, catches your attention. But I think that Ryder's landing some good shots in there as well. They're just not as impactful.
I'll be right back.
It's a good jab by Munguia there. He's got to use that double up jab to get inside. Good counter right hand from Ryder there. Good uppercut as well. There goes Sergio Mora mentioning and quoting me. I said that Munguia doesn't move his head very much 2 rounds ago. And there he goes. He mentions it himself. Munguia's head movement has not improved very much. But nobody expected it to with at the wild card gym with I'm forgetting his name, the trainer. Used to train Pacquiao. Good jab, Ryder. Munguia's not putting the shots together this round like he was previously. That's something that he should continue to do, this combination punch. He's only putting 1 or maybe 2 punches together. He's not putting 3 and 4s together like he did previously, and that's not leading to as much success as he's had in previous rounds.
March 2nd, as Amanda Serrano makes her homecoming by headlining the band in Puerto Rico. It's the Problem Child and promoters. All the
Man, watching these viewership numbers go up and down, like it's a lot of random pop-ups on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's quick, like
people trying to see what's going on.
Yeah. Cool breeze, you got it 65, 67 Munguia. That's fair. That's fair. I think that's how Q got it too.
Yeah, I had it one round off that, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that last round in Munguia. But I mean, the reality is, man, it don't matter what the fair judging of it is. He's gotta make it a clear, decisive victory. Otherwise, especially with 2 knockdowns now, he's got to go for broke if he wants to win the fight. He's not gonna win the fight on the cards in a close fight.
He was going to fight on the card, win the fight on the cards no matter what.
Ooh.
And now Munguia being hella aggressive.
Yeah, he is. He's missing a lot of his stuff. I mean, he got through with maybe 2 solid punches. It just looks really good, obviously.
Yeah.
It all looks good because it's busy. He's pushing up against the ropes.
Look at Oscar, bro.
Oh yeah, you know Oscar, man. He's still out there.
He all into it. He up there throwing punches and he like a fan.
Oh yeah, that's him, man. Look at this. Munguia, I think Munguia done used up all his energy this round.
That's what happened against Devin Checo too. Remember, he was kind of tired. That's how he got caught.
It's like he uses like all his energy the first minute and a half, and he's got to be on his bike the rest of the round. This is where you
Cool breeze. What up with you? Shouting out the viewers and the subscribers and such. For something here.
Ryder. We just saw John Ryder get a big right hand in that last round. What do you think of the action you've seen? The action is really good. I mean, if you look at the first early round, everyone thought Munguia was going to get the knockout early. I thought he was going to get the stoppage. But then you see Ryder for the second week. I think he got better and better, and he got stronger as the round went on. And I think he caught Munguia with the last round.
What was he saying?
He said that he thinks that Munguia started off really strong, but that he thinks Ryder has kind of rode out that wave, and Munguia looks like he's slowing down, and Ryder's kind of picking up the pace a little bit. He's been much more effective in the last couple of rounds, which is kind of what we've been saying this entire time, that Munguia's fighting now. He's not really putting an entire round together, which is making it more difficult to kind of judge the fight, because he'll start off good for 30 seconds, and then he coasts the last minute and a half of the round.
Well, he's not coasting. He's expending his energy, so he's just trying to live to the end of the round.
Oh, yeah, that might be it. That might be it.
Oh,
yeah,
that right hook was nasty.
That might be it.
Yeah, that right hook was nasty. Yeah. Ooh, Ryder ain't looking good, sir.
No. After we just get oh yeah, that's done. That's it. That's it. I can't believe this ref giving him another chance.
Caught him right on the liver too.
I can't believe he's giving him another chance.
I mean, he keep getting up.
I know he keeps getting up, but how many times is he gonna get knocked down, get clean smoked?
If you could respond to the ref, you get to keep fighting.
Oh,
He ain't gonna make it out this round though.
Wow.
His corner stopped it.
I don't know. The round ended, but then the ref came in the ring at the very end, so I'm not really sure.
No, the round didn't end.
Well, I mean, the ref, whoever is running the bell, rang the bell, and I wasn't sure if that was the end of the round or if that was a.
Yeah, that was a corner stoppage.
That's odd because usually they don't ring the bell for a corner stoppage. Usually.
Well, the ref didn't see, so they had to get his attention. Wow. I can't even say that was an impressive win.
Well, the thing is it's
It
hard
was
for him to
important.
be impressive because he gets hit so much. And he doesn't fight in a full round. He fights parts of the round. That's the main issue, is that he fights the part of a round instead of an entire round. So, I don't know. I think it's.
Yeah, wasn't nothing impressive about that. I thought it was.
He's in entertaining fights. I mean, you can't. I mean, I'm not going to.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for boxing, but as far as his career goes.
As far as him, being up at the top.
Yeah, he ain't that dude. He ain't it. Yeah. Well, we already know what the result is here. So we've been on here about 3.5 hours. So I'm about to do this this farewell. Hey, to everybody out there that tuned in, we do thank y'all for watching. Q, you got any final thoughts before we close it out?
Man, appreciate everybody that came on and watched the card with us. As always, we'll be back next week and give you guys some content. Give us some feedback in the comments as always. Share with a friend, and we appreciate all the support. Thank you.
No doubt. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And until the next time, this has been the Mic Check 1, 2, and we out. Peace.